Good afternoon, one and all, and a very warm welcome to Trevor Barker Beach Oval. This is the VAFA William Buck Premier Men's Finals Footy on Community TV and SEN. And then there were four. After 5 months and 18 rounds of intense VAFA action in the men's Premier Division, with 10 high-calibre teams jostling for position, we have our contenders. Now, a new season begins. But this is a stage that is a step up from what we've grown accustomed to in 2025. Now, only the very best will survive. For two teams, the September journey begins right here and now. For one of them, here is where it will also end. For the other, a preliminary final awaits, and the dream of claiming this year's premiership draws one step closer. While Old Brighton and Old Zavarians have set the pace for most of 2025, St Kevin's have established themselves as the best of the rest. After sitting with a 4-4 record after round 8, Anthony Lynch's men have since gone on a tear, winning 8 of their next 9 matches to finish the season with a 12-6 record. With finals qualification secured weeks ago, the SKOB has made the big call to rest a staggering 13 players in the final match of the home and away season. It's a call that's sparked intense debate in VAFA circles over the past fortnight, but will it pay dividends for them here today? For Old Scotch, they spent most of 2025 mired in the very middle of the table. At one point, they were in both a finals race and a relegation scrap. But the arrival of several star players late in the season was most timely. In an incredibly competitive campaign, Mark Nat's Chargers held their nerve, winning their last 3 matches to become the first team in this division since at least 2011 to qualify for finals despite failing to win more than half of its games. But don't be fooled by the 9-9 record. This is a team in white-hot form, stepping up when it mattered most to keep their season and premiership defence alive. But who will progress? We'll find out in the next couple of hours. My name is Matthew Donald, your host for today's first semi-final, and joining me here in the commentary box is my co-commentator. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome along Nick Robbins. Nick, great to have you with us.
Good afternoon, Matty. Great to be here. Sandringham just looks absolutely spectacular today. We're up above the actual interchange benches, so it's a great spot to be doing some commentary from, and you couldn't ask for better conditions today. It's not quite blowy, which we know it can be down here, and the sun's out, so happy days.
An absolute picture here with special comments thanks to HitIQ's game-changing Protect Concussion Management System. Use VAFA 50 to get $50 off at hitiq.com. Is one of the most credentialed coaches in the state. Over 8 seasons, he's taken Old Haileybury from C grade to the Premier Division, and in this, their first season back in the top flight, their pursuit for a finals berth came down to the final day of the season. And I welcome him as the newly appointed coach for Sandringham's VFL side of 2026. Daniel Ward. Daniel, welcome to you and congratulations.
Thank you, Matty. Great to be here, boys. As Nick said, fantastic day for footy. It can blow a real Brendan gale down here at times, but today is a great day for footy, and we'll give both sides an equal opportunity to win the game of footy.
And rounding out our commentary quartet, down the boundary line, it's one of the sharpest investigative journalists in the business. We may be on radio, but his news comes with no delay. If a player suffers so much as a paper cut out there, this man will know about it. Cooper Watkins. Cooper, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Matty. Thank you for having me on. I think that's about as good as a pump up as I can get. But no, thank you. As you referenced, some good conditions out here. It should be a good game of footy.
Absolutely. This is a Saturday warm-up thanks to Metwa Care, providing care for more than 16,500 people each week across Greater Melbourne and regional Victoria since 1959. Cooper, I know you've spoken with the coaches, so we'll get what they had to say to you in the pre-game very shortly. But, gents, we've got to have a bit of a call of the card here with these two teams. 3rd v 4th. St Kevin's a record of 12-6 with a percentage of 128.09. Old Scotch, a 9-9 record in 4th spot. A percentage of 108.63, defeating Daniel Ward's Old Haileybury in the final round of the season to secure their passage through the finals. The changes, gentlemen, just a couple of them this week. We'll go with Old Scotch first, the team that finished 4th. 5 changes for them only, and you'll get why I say only in a second. Will Townsend, Ryan Walsh, James Brady, Tom Farah and Nelson Troon come in. The expense of Aidan Frenetic, Tyler Sellers, Hugo Brommel, Douglas Lawrence and Ned McGuinness. And now, St Kevin's. We've counted 13 changes all up. Mentioned at the top that they rested a catalogue of players for that last home and away match against St Bernard, so a host of starts to come back in. Cam Hodges, Luke Winter, Jack Marnie, Sam Critchley, Alistair Richards, Andrew Matheson, Tom Ferguson, Callum Jones, Will Coates, Liam Gunson, Anthony Seaton, Sam Cameron, Vincent Aducci all come in, as does Sam Tucker, and then making their way out of the tide from that round 18 game. Robert Larcher, Pat Kerr, Xavier Duke, Tom Parola, Thomas Feehan, Tom Davidson, Connor Lynch, Matthew Canning, Sam Milne, Jack Roman and Jack Ball, Oscar White and Thomas Williams. Lots of changes there in that one. We'll start with you, Daniel. Obviously, you've been part of the Premier Division this year as coach of Old Haileybury. You've come across these two sides on a couple of occasions. What do you make of these two sides coming into today?
Yeah, they're obviously coming in with different form lines. Appreciate you bringing up the fact that Scotch got us in the last game for finals, Matty. But obviously St Kevin's had earned the right to do what they needed to do to prepare for today. Plugger's a great coach, so I trust he knows his players and the individual programs. So I think they'll be cherry ripe for today. And Scotch, they've obviously had a few come in, a few go out as well with VFL availability. So, they were really impressive. Those last couple of games, obviously they beat Blacks by 100 and us by 6 goals, and had some quality come in. The task for Natty is just to make sure that with those guys going back out, there's still that continuity throughout the group. And I'm really looking forward to it. It should be a really close game.
Again, as we say, they won their last 3. They've had to effectively play 3 pre-elimination finals just to get to this point. Old Scotch. Cooper, down on the boundary, you spoke to both coaches in the lead up to this match a little early, Anthony Lynch of St Kevin's and Mark Nat of Old Scotch. What did they have to say?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Lynch was pretty big on, we were obviously having the discussion about the amount of changes, and he was pretty happy with the way that his group was ready to go. They've been training hard the last couple of weeks, probably the hardest they've trained all year. He was suggesting, so he didn't really have any problem with it and doesn't see an issue with the way that he's sort of prepared his troops. He's really happy with the second half of the season. He talked about the Zavs loss earlier in the year, and then the form that they've had since then, sort of focused on a couple of things really for the rest of the year and kept it simple, and that's sort of what he's put down to their form. And he touched on sort of just the finals footy and the chaos and the way that they want to play today in terms of their contested footy that they're really well known for. And then Natty, on the other hand, Mark Nat, I spoke to him just about the St Kevin's style of footy and what he thought about that. He was really keen on just wanting his midfielders to put pressure on. It wasn't necessarily about winning the footy at the coalface, but more so putting the pressure on those mids and then being able to bring in their intercept game that they're really well known for, Old Scotch. So he was also touching big on their last sort of 4 weeks and the pre-elimination finals that you referenced there, Matty, and he's really happy with the form that they're in, and he reckons they're ready to go. Didn't really say that it reinforced anything other than that just they're ready to go. They got into finals and they're ready to face the challenges.
Daniel, do you have in terms of the two sides and their lead into this, you've got one that you would argue is reasonably battle-hardened with Scotch. They've had to play a lot of these sort of do-or-die games in the last few weeks and are mentally used to playing in these cutthroat games. St Kevin's have given themselves an opportunity to reset and refresh. Do you have a philosophy or an idea on which camp you'd rather be in with that sort of preparation?
You're going to hold me to this later?
Absolutely not.
Never. They're obviously, it's a stark difference between the two, right? So elimination finals and trying to win every week and get your percentage up to overtake us, and then St Kevin's, resting 13 guys. But like I said earlier, there's some. I imagine St Kevin's would have had a lot of individual programs over the last couple of weeks, and I think they would have trained really hard. Talking to Plugger earlier, I think he's really happy in the preparation and couldn't have gone any better. So, if I was to guess, knowing the way how professional St Kevin's are and the way Plugger goes about it, I'd prefer it to be them, nice and fresh, coming into a 3-week campaign. But we'll soon see.
Well, absolutely, we will be. What do you reckon the key to the game is? Because there's two very contrasting styles here. St Kevin's very much a contested inside team, but when the ball gets on the outside, that's where Old Scotch thrive. Who do you reckon that suits more coming into today?
Yeah, I think that's the key, Matt, is... Billy Coates in the ruck for St Kevin's, I actually rate as the best ruckman in the comp. Works his backside off, but gets it going their way. Gives Winter and the Hodges and those type of guys first look, and then he's also an extra mid when the ball hits the deck. So Grant and Clark will have a big job in curtailing him, I think, today. Obviously, everyone knows how Scots want to play, and we tried to curtail that in the last game, and Old Scots will use every blade of grass. They'll look to switch. If you're 5 metres off, they'll hit that kick. They'll just pull the trigger. So Plugger will know that, and St Kevin's will know that they need to be up and force the turnover and get the ball in their forward half. But yeah, again, it's different contrasting styles, so one that makes for a great game of footy.
You mentioned the two players there, Winter and Coates. Winter with 322 contested possessions in the competition. That's ranked number 1 across the board. Despite not playing in that final game of the season, he's still about 50 clear. And Bill Coates, since he's come back into the side, because he missed the first couple of months of the season, averaging 59 hit-outs, which is ranked first in the competition, and 10.5 clearances, which is third and first among ruckmen. So it sort of goes to your point that while he's very good at his ruck craft, he doubles up as a midfielder as well when the ball hits the deck. He's still very much alive.
Yeah, third in the comp for a ruckman's an amazing feat. So, yeah, that's... I didn't know that stat, but that's a great stat because he gives him first use. Like I said earlier, he's a workhorse. He'll do 95% of the work himself in the ruck, and he'll give him first look. Luke Winter, being a 6'3", 6'4", 95 kegs mid, really hard to get around and stop him from getting that first footy. So, two really important players for St Kevin's, and one that will have a high impact in today's game.
And while we've got eyes on this match, there'll be more than a couple of sets of eyes at Elstonwick Park around the grounds for the Glenferrie Hotel. The second semi-final, Old Brighton and Old Zabs, the two pace setters for 2025. The winner to go straight through to the grand final, the loser to play the victor here, Nick. To welcome you back into the coverage. That's going to be both games are going to be beauties today, but that is going to be a thriller as well.
Yeah, it absolutely will. All 4 teams that have earned the right to be in the finals are all contenders in their own right. Obviously, with Old Scotch here being the reigning premiers, they won't have a problem, I don't think, today coming from this position where they've got to play every week and continue on winning. It's what they did last season, and like we said, after 3 weeks ago, getting back in a host of players that helped them rise to the next level and really kick them away from the potential loss or relegation battle means, well, all remaining matches I cannot see being blowouts for the rest of the season, and I can see them being all absolutely ripper games, especially with these two teams. The difference when Old Scotch and St Kevin's have played throughout the season has been 14 points and 11 points respectively. That's round 1 and round 9. And that victory went each way, so they've got a 50-50 split, and it was whoever had home ground advantage. So this one will be an absolute ripper as they try and make their march towards a flag.
Yeah, and since 2018, St Kevin's head-to-head against Scotch, 11 wins to the Scrubbers, 3 for the Cardinals. But one of those 3 came in last year's preliminary final for Scotch, where they defeated St Kevin's. The last time these two have played in a final. St Kevin's kicking to the right of your screen here. It is first semi-final action. A spot in the preliminary final up for grabs. St Kevin's and Old Scotch. One of these teams, their season will come to an end in a couple of hours from now. For the other, the dream lives on. Nick Robbins to call the opening bounce.
So the ball is held aloft, the siren sounded, and we're away here. And the two ruckmen go at it, and immediately a win there to Coates. And also interesting to see Grant, the other ruckman, trying to use body work there instead of going the leap. So he's obviously got that planned out. Either way, St Kevin's have won that middle clearance, and they look to spread it wide. Ball ends up in the hands of Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer's too far out to score, so he wheels and deals and scrubs a kick off the side of the boot. It is their first foray inside 50, but it's a non-effective one. Ball pitches just inside the boundary line, so we'll have our first throw in, and we're now into the right forward pocket. St Kevin's attacking in the first minute.
So it'll be a boundary throw in about 35 metres out from St Kevin's goal. It's the opening clearance of the match. Ball tossed back in. It's Coates who gets front spot. Bounced off his chest. Comes out now to Hodges. Tries to fend off a tackle. He's caught at the second time of asking. And he's going to be penalised. Free kick to Batter in the back flank for the Zavs. Or for Scotch, rather. We were watching the Zavs earlier. Batter. Called to play on now by the umpire. So he drives a kick up towards the wing. Jock comes in from the side. It gets over the back now. And the Cardinals are away. Picking up the football. Running towards goal was Polkinghorn. It's a one-on-one inside 50. They found the space. And it's Angus Jones who's marked 45 metres out from goal, virtually directly in front, and he'll line up for the opening goal of the game.
What happened there? So St Kevin's did really well to cut off the switch. Went down the line, so that's exactly what St Kev's would want. Ball got out the back though, so we've got to make sure that if they're going long and high down the line that defenders don't get caught out the back, and that's what happened into the open space.
He's kicked 7 goals, 18 for the season, Jones. He'll be kicking from just inside 50. He's got the distance, no worries. He's spread through the middle. And we have the game's opening goal, his first semi-final. It's the Cardinals who strike first, off the boot of Angus Jones. It's a beautiful start for Old Scotch, and they're on the board. 1 straight 6, and Kevin's yet to score, and that's on the McCormick Property Services scoreboard in this opening term.
They'll be disappointed with that, St Kev's. Got to make sure that that if you keep them down the line, that they stay down the line and the ball doesn't get out the back like we just said. So Old Scotch get high up the ground, so got to make sure that there's no uncontested footy into an open forward line.
So the ball is back in the middle. It's thrown up high. That one, you'd say, again, one down by Coates. Look for him to be the dominant ruckman. But this time, the Old Scotch midfield is up to the challenge. They don't let that ball spray out, so it's a repeat throw. Coates just manhandles his opposing ruckman, wins it out, and now St Kev's are away. They come out again to the members' side wing where it's a foot race, and surely that one's going to be called deliberate. And it is. Great tackling pressure there. Left no hesitation in the umpires there. You get rid of it, but you handball directly over the line. It has to be a free kick. So Old Scotch looking load up. They go long down the wing, getting across and the mark being claimed. And the umpire has blown his whistle very late there.
Yeah,
In the end, he has given the mark to St Kevin's.
Angus Hart.
And that's Angus Hart with the ball. He goes long down the line. This time, Old Scotch able to set up. They create a pack and get the ball moving forward. We're now playing a bit of kick-to-kick down the members' side wing as some ferocious tackling there by Ollie Batter has made sure the ball stayed locked up, and it's on true centre wing with the umpire about to throw it high.
So 3.5 gone here in this opening term. The Cardinals leading by a straight kick at this point. Tackle applied by Matheson locks things up once more.
Looks like Andy Jalbert's taking Winter at stoppages, the skipper for Scotch.
Neither ruck got a tap to it there. Trying to barge through there was Marnie. Just about got a hand pass away. Batter swept through nicely. He got the hand pass away. Touched off the boot. Umpire calls play on. Grant brings Coates down to the tackle. Jock goes in low and hard. Umpire waves play on. Happy to let it go. And then eventually does lock things up. We'll get a stoppage once again. Might head down now to the boundary to Cooper Watkins, has got us there. Or maybe not. We'll go to him in a second. Holding free kick. It'll go to Grant this time for the Cardinals, who's got it. Now centre wing. Goes short with the kick. Oh, look at this. They've got a bit of space here all of a sudden to the Cardinals. Getting on the end of the hand pass there was Stubbings. He got it from Brown. Goes towards full forward. They've got it over the back. It's come off Clark's hands. Then Tucker to the rescue. Escorts it over the line for a minor score. 1-1 place for Old Scots, and Kevin's yet to score. And that's on the opening quarter scoreboard for the McCormick Property Services. Nick Robbins.
So the ball is brought back in quickly from St Kevin's. They want to get it moving. And an infringement there, just a good clip behind the ears from Grant. Sees the ball given to Luke Winter.
Ear massage.
So he's now assessing his options. He gives the quick handball off, and we go long down the line. Big pack of players formed. No mark can be taken. Clearing the ball there was Mahoney. He gets a handball out, but his teammate is set upon immediately. No room for error here. Quick squirt of handballs now sees Old Scotch regain composure and gather in the middle of the ground. We've now got some run. Out on the outside there is Stubbings. Stubbings goes long into an open forward line. And coming out over the back there is Tarrant. He handballs inside looking for Clark. Clark can't get down to the ball. And hopefully, well, looks likely that St Kevin's is going to mop up. A quick kick off the side of the boot has come off hands. And a lucky let off there. It's now going to be thrown in deep into Old Scotch's forward line.
St Kevin's will be disappointed with their start at the moment. A lot of uncontested footy to Scots, and need to shut that down.
For the first time in the match, a stoppage inside Scotch is attacking 50. There's only been a lot of space when they've worked it inside 50 to this point, and that will be a free kick for high contact. Winter went in a bit aggressively and gave away the free kick, and a good opportunity here for Old Scotch to get their second on the board. It will be Jones again, who's already got one. A chance to double up here. He will be from about on 50, but on a tough angle, though. It'll be about 5 metres in from the line.
We've got a good look at it from here as well, so we'll know.
He'll be right behind the kick. He already has kicked the goal. 8 goals, 18 for the season for Jones now. He sets the kick on this way. That looks good off the boot. He has got it. He's got the radar working today. It is Angus Jones. And that's his second goal. And he's proving the difference at the moment. 7 minutes gone in the opening term on the McCormack Property Services scoreboard. Old Scotch 2-1-13. St Kevin's yet to score. Angus Jones has a couple.
And rewarded rightly so with being benched immediately.
2 goals and go and have a seat. Yeah, look, Scotch need to get St Kevin's need to get moving here. As I said earlier, Scotch want to control the footy and get uncontested footy. They're actually beating St Kevin's at the contest and then spreading quickly, playing a forward half game, and then you see with the free kick, they take their opportunities.
So we're back in the middle. The 2 rucks lock arms. This time the win goes to Grant. He just thumps the ball forward. But first to it, once again, is that St Kevin's midfield. They are giving them that first look of the footy coming out of the middle. It's now making sure that the forwards can get on the job and get working, because at the moment, Old Scotch's defence holding up well. They play a long game. It's out on the far side. It's going to end up in the hands of Easton, the vice-captain. He goes long down the line. Sitting under the ball there, waiting for it, was Tarrant. It was just over his head, but he mops up well with a crunching tackle to stop it being ping-ponged straight back into that half-forward line for St Kevin's. And it's a 50-50 stoppage where the umpire says, give it to me, I'll throw it high. He does just that. 2 ruckmen are locked up. That time won by Coates. Coates pushes it out towards the boundary line, and St Kevin's are away again. A hat kick gets it to half forward. A big mop of players, and those first to the ball are going to be St Kevin's. But again, the defence there of Old Scotch is great with their tackling and swarming in numbers to make sure the ball carrier just doesn't have clean hands getting it out. And they've managed to turn it over. Ball in dispute, close to the boundary line, and Old Scotch retreat to then come forward. A quick kick in towards the centre of the ground. Target intended there was Farah. Farah overruns it, and now Jock looks to mop up. He doesn't quite gain possession of it and tackles instead. That's Tawney, last man up, and it's going to be in the centre of the ground with a new stoppage.
So Coates and Grant once again, they spin around and both are being held, and there'll be a free kick going against Coates, who's not all that happy about it either. For Sam Grant to take the free kick at centre half back. And goes with a switch out wide. The kick was looking for Hayes. Found him on the bounce. He drives a long kick down the line towards half forward. Always favoured Angus Hart. And that's an easy intercept mark for the number 9. Who wastes no time with a hand pass across. And then a long kick down the line. Judged well by Marnie. Used the body well, but wasn't able to complete the mark. Now it was... The kick was smothered there off the boot of Ferguson, and it's been won back now by the Cardinals. Hand pass from Batter out to Hayes, who's got a bit of space. Spears a kick up towards half forward. It's a low flat worm burner. Here's Farah. He gets the hand pass across to Tarrant, who clips it into the pocket, and going back with a flight is Jack Polkinghorn, who's marked in the pocket.
Really impressive ball movement from Scotch at the moment. Flicking it around, as we say, they're a high possession team, but really flicking around and great ball use going forward.
Good for a goal a game, Jack Polkinghorn. He's kicked 8 goals in 8 appearances this season. Again, this will be a tough shot, tucked up against the boundary line. And they're kicking from about 25 metres out though. Comes in with the drop part. He's kicked it pretty straight. He's put it through as well. They can't miss right now, the Cardinals. 3 set shots, 3 goals. And Jack Polkinghorn gets in on the act. And the Cardinals' hot start continues. 3-1-19. St Kevin's yet to score. And that is on the McCormack Property Services scoreboard in this opening term.
Yeah, great start from Scotch. St Kevin's will need to start to roll the sleeves up a little bit here, win it around the middle of the ground and get the ball in their forward half. They're obviously not the start that they want, but they need to start to turn this and win the contested footy in the middle of the ground.
So they are getting first crack out of the middle. They have won most of the centre clearances. It's just once it hits that half-forward line, they've struggled. Meanwhile, back in the centre, the umpire throws it high. Grant wins that tap down, and away goes St Kevin's once again. They're just reading the play better out of the middle. Kick comes into the half-forward line. Great spoil there from Old Scotch, and it's a good fist towards the boundary that's seen the ball go over, and it's members' side of the ground. We're going to get a throw in right between the interchange arcs.
Daniel, it sort of feels like when it's on the inside, it's St Kevin's, but as soon as it comes outside, it's when Old Scotch take over. It's sort of how we anticipated it panning out.
Yeah, they're recovering really well once it gets outside the bubble, Scotch.
So once again, thrown in, 2 rucks go at it, ball flies out over the back, connected there by Stubbings. He's wrapped up immediately, and the umpire wants it back. 2 ruck go at it. Coates wins that one down. Chasing after the ball hard there is Cameron. He picks it up but has nowhere to go. Good tackling all round. It's been held to him. The umpire wants it back almost in the centre circle.
The grounding coach, that might be another free kick against Big Billy.
Ruck Lotto here, just let them go at it. Stop blowing the whistle.
And both of them wanted to play the wrestle game, so let them both wrestle.
Yep.
So Grant, the beneficiary, comes out wide with the kick to Noblet. And he's got Stubbings on short. Barely the 15.
Again, if you sit off, they're going to hit it. They're going to pull the trigger every time.
And they're very good at this, Scotch. No team's taken more marks in the competition this year than Scotch. They go inside 50, over the head of Tarrant. Seaton tracking the ball back, overran it, and then had to apply the tackle. It's opened the door here for the Cardinals. Dillamitru's in there. He's sort of trying to grab the footy and hand pass it as well. And it was good work in the end there by Gunson, who gets the hand pass across. Clearing kick by Matheson out towards the back flank. They're still under the cosh here. Mansfield was dispossessed. The umpire wave play on. Here's Jones again. Spins away from two. Snaps into the post. Oh, that was almost our goal of the day. Sealed away right there with that effort from Jones, who's had an almighty opening term. All the day contenders for Glenferrie Hotel will be keeping an eye on that. 3-2-20, St Kevin's yet to score. And it's on the opening quarter scoreboard here. We've ticked over 13 minutes in it.
So St Kevin's to bring it back in. They go long out to the far wing, but it's going to be chopped off and intercepted. A great mark there from Cormac. He's read that well. He's been one of their best over the last few weeks. And now he assesses his options. He goes into the forward pocket. Big pack of players, but a great mark. Arms outstretched is Tarrant. And he's going to go back and have a look at his first of the day. Strong mark that in front of a couple of opposition.
Charlie Cormac being one of Scotch's best this year. His ability to come off and actually mark the ball overhead for a guy that's not a huge size, reads the ball really well, and then used to the footy inside forward 50 was great to Tarrant.
That's it. Exactly how that worked out as well. Perfect to Tarrant. Hit him on the lead. Can he finish off? He crosses the paint of 50. Kick goes high. Might drop a little short. Clark's underneath it. It doesn't actually make the goal line, so it's in play still. First to respond. And a kick sent wide by Stubbings is going to miss everything. And a let off there for St Kevin's. Can they rebound and build from this?
You normally see these scores when there's a howling gale going to one end. We can assure everyone it's perfect conditions. There's no breeze going to one end or the other, so it's just Scotch have come to play in the first 15 minutes.
That's very unusual. Angus Jones, who's had his issues with kicking for goal this year, he's 2 from 2. And James Tarrant has kicked 21-7. So doesn't even score with that effort.
So interestingly enough, before St Kevin's bring it back in, just when we were on the half forward line for St Kevin's, there was the 4 defenders for Old Scotch, which means that St Kevin's are playing an extra couple back already. So they're going to struggle moving forward.
I think they have to for the moment because they're under the pump. So they want to make sure that they're not conceding six or 7 down at quarter time and then it's out of hands. So
a dangerous kick there from Matheson across the face of goal, but it's worked out for St Kevin's. They've managed to retain possession. Jock received the hand pass from Hodges and goes with an aggressive kick right into the centre of Trevor Barker Beach Oval. Winter was the target. He's got to beat Brown. He did well, Winter, to halve the contest and then win the football back as well. Brown set upon him. It's a dual draw in the end and it'll be tossed up right in the centre of the ground.
Exactly your point there, Nick. When he went to come inside, it was 2v4. Luke Winter done a great job in actually locking the ball in.
Grant gets the tap forward. Jock receives the hand pass there from Elliot Marnie and gets it away, but it's straight to Brown, who tries to take on the tackle, and he can't get through. Good effort there by Dillamitru to lock it up.
Bit of perceived pressure as well for St Kev's at the moment because Scotch's pressure has been elite. They just need to probably control the footy for a little bit, get their hands on it.
They've done all the scoring at the moment of Old Scotch. 3-2 St Kevin's. You have to score here. It's nearly 16 minutes gone here in this opening quarter. And it'll be another stoppage between wing and half forward for the Cardinals, Nick.
So on the far side of the ground, in front of the old scoreboard, the umpire throws it aloft. The 2 rucks go at it. That one an easy win to Coates. Just starting to use his body, and you think if that goes on longer throughout the game, he might really get on top there with his strength. Quick kick inside, finds the hands of Richards. Richards has some dash and some flair. He takes a bounce and goes long towards the goals. It pitches on a knife and pops up beautifully there for Critchley, who spins and has a shot. And away we go. St Kevin's finally on the board. We've only had to go almost 15 minutes, but they've got there first, and it's thanks to a lucky bounce. Critchley there, the recipient, spins and kicks truly.
Well done by Critchley there. Really dangerous matchup for St Kevin's up forward. I reckon they actually just set up that goal by 2 or 3 minutes of a repeat stoppage. So, modern day football, it's really hard to stop momentum, but to actually get those repeat stoppages for 2-3 minutes and then the ball get going their way for a little bit and into an open forward line, as we discussed, numbers back into an open forward line. Great goal by Critchley. Badly
needed major for the Scobbers. They're on the board at last. Toss back up. Brown with the hand pass away. It was smothered though and by Jock, and now it allows Ferguson in, who looks to fan a kick out towards the wing. Bouncing football. The race is on. Will the boundary line beat them? Yes, Pfeiffer retained the ball, but eventually walked over the boundary line for a throw in.
Fantastic effort by Tom Jock there. They were out coming forward to defend and smothering the footy. Great leadership.
So in between the two interchange gates here as the umpire tosses the ball back in. Grant was too strong for Mansfield on that occasion. Hacked off the ground there by Brown. Now Grant tried to set it back. Winter, strong body in there. And then Brown once more. He's worried out of it by Marnie. It's just good pressure at the moment. Hodges got the hand pass, looking for a Ducci, picked up by Winter. Cruising passes Mansfield. Spears a kick inside 50. Off hands. Umpire Wade play on. Now Stubbings gets the hand pass away. Now Gelbart's going to receive it. Wanted to give it back. Released it just in time, but it was a little awry. And it's gone out of play for a boundary throw in. I think it was Noblet who was the intended target, but instead will be tossed in between wing and half forward for the Scobbers.
Pressure is lifted here from St Kevin's. Plug will be really happy with that. They're starting to roll the sleeves up a little bit.
So a bit of a telegraphed handball there from Gelbart. He knew what he wanted to do, and unfortunately it allowed the defence to get in and make sure they could spoil. So the throw-in resultant is dropping short. Clark's now pinch hitting in the ruck, and he tried to run onto it, couldn't quite grab it directly, and it ended up in the hands of Noblet, who got absolutely smashed as he hit the deck. So it's a throw-up. Clark wins that one down in front of Mansfield. Balls ended up way out of bounds, and the boundary umpire let that one go before calling it in, and they've had the changeover now. So it's right in between where the two boundary umpires are going to change ends. So we're still outside the forward 50 here for St Kevin's, but now they've started to get some momentum going, and they're starting to have a bit more time in their forward half. As a big fist over the top there comes St Kevin's way, but it's going to rebound out straight away as the long kick gets to the mid-wing. Grant's going to be the recipient underneath. He can't quite take the mark, so he just tries to paddle it forward, and now they're just playing pressure footy, is Old Scotch, just trying to force the ball forward. And that's a good 50-50 result there, right in front of the interchange bench. Last one there, getting up. He's going to see the ball given back to the umpires to be thrown right in front of the Old Scotch bench. So Clark wins that one, but it's all St Kevin's there as a quick kick comes out of the pack and is sent down towards their half-forward line. No clear mark can be taken, nor clear possession at the moment. It's going to be who wants it first, and the quickest to get there is St Kevin's. Mahoney drives them long inside forward 50. It's a 2-on-2 and a big fist out. Sends the ball back towards centre half forward. Held off the ball, but not receiving any free kick there was Old Scotch. So it's a rolling ball we've got going. And the ball is now flicking around everybody's feet, ending up in the hands there of Stubbings, who's been very busy in this first quarter. He's been across the ground everywhere. And the last man in defence there holds it up, and now we've got a ball up in the centre forward line for St Kevin's.
So Clark and Critchley to do the ruck work. Critchley taps it down to Marnie. His kick was smothered at the last. It's come out now here for the Cardinals. Clearing kick out towards the bank flank. Coming over the top there was Matheson. Spoiled it, brought it to ground. And then a tackle by Winter locks things up, and we'll get a stoppage. Yeah, just on the half-forward flank for St Kevin's. It'll start to lift in the last few minutes. Coates to grab it out of the ruck, got the hand pass away. Richards goes with a right foot kick in towards the pocket. Pfeiffer was trying to take it on his chest. It was knocked away from him off hands, and a boundary throw in.
That one was close.
Very close. Coates had a quick break in the ruck. It looks like Sam Grant's having a break as well. Luckily for Scotch, they can throw Will Clark in there to compete, and he's doing really well.
Very adept both at full forward and in the ruck is Will Clark. Ball comes back in. Winter was there. Batter as well. Hand pass comes out to Dillamitru, who goes back to Richards, who goes back once again. High kick from Jones inside 50. Anyone's ball. Oh. Big fly over the top. And it's that man, Charlie Cormack. Who else?
He's a star.
That's got to be a contender for mark of the day, and that would be all thanks to McQueen Financial Group. Great last-ditch effort mark on the line there from Cormack.
One of the elite intercept marks in the competition, and meanwhile the kick goes up the line from Troon. One of 5 changes for Scotch, but it goes out of play and it'll be a
Scotch's pressure really important there because it was a long high ball that allows Cormac to come off and take that mark. If there's not as much pressure through there, they can lower their eyes and he becomes null and void.
So the umpire throwing it in. The 2 true ruckmen go at it, but it's going to fall well short of both of them, and it pitches. And the first one to react there is Coates. He gets a handball and retreats so that St Kevin's can go forward again. Then ends up in the hands of Delitriou. Now the ball has spilled out in front of Noblet. Still in that true centre wing position, far side of the ground. So 22 and a half minutes gone here at Sandringham Oval. It's 3-2-20 from Old Scotch to 1 straight St Kevin's. And now we've got a good arm wrestle happening, which is what we see from both of the ruckmen. Coates wins that one directly. He handballs it out to Jock. Jock just tries to barrel his way through 3 or 4 players and gains himself 10 metres. But he didn't have prior opportunity. And so as he was wrapped up and brought to ground, the umpire said, "Give it back to me, I'll throw it high." He does just that. 2 wrestling ruckmen go at it. Coates wins this one, taps it towards the boundary. First to respond, though, is going to be Gelbart, the captain for Old Scotch, and he walks it across the line with nothing further afield.
Love the way Tom Jock plays. He's really proactive as a halfback flanker, comes at the ball, puts pressure on, and great when he gets the ball in his hands.
We saw it earlier too, that just in that centre-half back line, he didn't take a backward step to attack the footy.
Yep.
Coates got rid of Grant and then thumped it forward. Ferguson soccers it off the ground. Green's about 15 metres. Critchley comes out to meet it at half forward, just bursts through and then spears it towards the pocket for Marnie. Great slips catch. Terrific dive by Elliot Marnie and good sticky hands at the end of it as well. And he'll line up on a tight angle about 35 metres out.
Do you think he knows which game he's playing, Matty?
Well, we're edging closer towards cricket season, aren't we?
Critchley, generally a workhorse there, has obviously been a key defender in the past, but his ability to hit up there was fantastic.
Marnie opens up the angle. It's a long way to snap, and it's gone towards full forward, and it's come off hands for a rush behind for St Kevin's. 1-1 to 3-2 in favour of the Cardinals. We've approached 24 minutes here in this opening term for the McCormack Property Services scoreboard.
So we do have a coach here, Matty, so this is a good time to ask. As a coach, how do you feel about the snap when they can go back for a set shot?
Yeah, I hate the snap, especially on the run from 20, 25 metres out if you can just kick it through normally. But I sound like an olden day coach when I say that. So,
Spoken like a footy purist, Daniel.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, as play resumes, it's a long kick out that gets all the way to true centre wing, and a high ball is now pumped back inside forward 50 first. St Kevin's, and a great strong mark sitting under the ball there.
Sam Barnett.
Is Barnett.
So he's a big V rep this year, really dangerous. Come over from Old Geelong this year, and he's been really dangerous this year as a hybrid forward, if you like, and a second, third marking option for St Kevin's. Great kick of a footy too.
So Barnett, in he comes. He's kicked 29-9 for the year as he lets fly from outside 50. It's not quite got the journey on it, and it's touched across the line. Only a minor score for the scorers. That sends St Kevin's to 1-8. Old Scotch still in a lead of 2 goals straight. It's 3-2-20. We've gone 25 and a half minutes here in the first quarter, and that, of course, is all thanks to McCormack Property Services.
Galvin goes with the short kick. It's a bit too short. And in the end, it was Walsh who was tackled over the boundary line for a throw-in. I think the kick from Barnett was on line, but just didn't quite have the carry, about a couple of metres short in the end. A long launch from outside 50. McCormack Property Services scoreboard in this opening term. 25 and a half gone. Cardinals 3-2. St Kevin's 1-2. Grant got the tap away. Clearing kick comes out to Coates, who was playing behind the ball there. Hands it off to Richards from 50. Looks to centre the kick. It's a good one. It's come off hands. It was Walsh who got the spoil. Aducci might have been held. The umpire wave play on. Jock's in there. Barnett once more. Gives it, got it back. Looks to get it out. And now Ferguson's got a bit of a problem. He's caught by Stubbings. Umpire wave play on. Clearing kick out towards the wing. St Kevin's have the numbers. They'll let it trickle over. And they'll get the footy right back here because that's going to be deemed insufficient intent. And they waste no time. Jones goes short to Hard. He's called to go by the umpire. And he goes up the line. I don't go at full stretch there was Richards, but he reeled it in. Now it's just held up for a minute. Richards just to go up towards half forward, but good use of the body there, and a good mark's been taken by Brady against Critchley. Thank you, Daniel.
So Brady's a big inclusion for them in the back line. He's been really strong all season.
Clark from behind, read it better than anyone else. Marks behind Hart, wants to go quickly. Oh, he got a kick away just in time. Vacant space of the forward line, bouncing back towards the full forward. Seaton was there, got the hand away to Gunson, gives it back to Seaton, and he's in a bit of trouble now. He gives the handball to Gunson once more. They're doing this very carefully, but effectively. Cameron back to Gunson. They want to wheel out of defence now. Gunson goes over the top to Aducci, who's got to go back with a flight. Courageous effort in the air, and he'll get the free kick with Aducci. Didn't know what was coming the other way, but held his nerve and took the mark well.
Great effort by Seaton there. They tried to get out of the back. He read it quicker than anyone else. Gunson got back as a defensive wingman as well and got the numbers back, and then they're getting the work here, St. Kevin's.
So Jones receives the pass and tells everybody to slow down, but they're not going to have much break at the moment because that kick is off the side of the boot as it's laced out in front of Seaton. And so now it's a 1-on-3, and he's done really well. Great vision. He's gone long down the line, hit Cameron lace out, who now wheels and goes inside forward 50, where the ball is met well by the Old Scotch defence. It's now still in play. A quick kick comes out of the pack, and it's away to the right. A lucky let off there, you'd say, from Old Scotch. That is great vision from Seaton's kick to Cameron.
Liam Gunson on the left there. Really impressed with his work on the wing on the far side. Broke into North Melbourne's VFL side for a game at the end of the season. A kid with a great future.
The number 36 and 37 clearly spend a lot of time next to each other in the locker rooms, and they're combining well on the field also. Easton gives it, gets it back. Here's with a kick up the line to Walsh. With 3 kicks, they've only managed to get it to half back now, Old Scotch. And that's a dangerous kick, and it's split the difference. Straight onto the chest of Ferguson. He's about 2 kicks from home now. He doesn't want to go quickly. He's just going to wait for options. He's going to set it into the pocket, looking for Critchley. Got hands to it. Fell to ground level. Here's Cameron once more. Oh, he was dispossessed by his own teammate. Gets it out to Hodges, who straightens for a goal. It's coming back. But it's offline. Didn't make the distance anyway, and Clark made absolutely sure of it to thump it through for a rush behind. So St. Kevin's peppering the goals here. 1-4, 3-2. So we approach 30 minutes here in this opening term for the McCormack Property Services scoreboard.
Both sides have some really reliable defenders. They're great at certain things, but probably don't want them kicking out sometimes. So they'll be trying to get the ball in their kickers' hands, a la Reece Galvin now.
So the ball comes out. It's not going to make the intended target, and St. Kevin's are going to look to rebuild. At the moment, it's a chain of handballs. And now it's been wrapped up tight. Still in play. Last man up there is going to be Luke Winter. He hands it back to the umpire. Umpire looks around for the 2 rucks who come across from the centre half forward line. They have a wrestle. The tap comes in. It's won by St. Kevin's. Coates has been excellent so far. Now it's with Jock. He sells a dummy. He sells 2 dummies. Now he goes backwards, and the kick finally comes inside forward 50. It's a high up and under kick, and nobody is home. The ball hits the deck, and Old Scotch's defence are first to pounce on it. They can't get a clearing handball, so it's trapped in, and the umpire says, give it to me, I'll throw it high.
Richards was brave to bounce there, wasn't he? Bursting away from the contest.
Yeah, quality player, Richards, getting his hands on the ball and, really doing a great job on the wing this side.
So the quick kick comes out of the back line, and it's going to be sent back in straight away. Seaton now has it. He's chopped off a couple just in the last minute here on this half-forward line. So he puts it to the hot spot. Who's the leading player? Nobody can take the grab, but first to the ball is going to be Barnett.
Probably unlucky there. Caught one high by the response from the crowd.
Well, that would have been a huge free kick because he's right in front, about 30 out. In the end, the umpire says, give it back to me. So the 2 rucks go at it. Coates wins that one easy. Hits it straight towards the top of the square. Rolling pack forms, and now it's going to spill out wide. And once again, Old Scotch have held up well at their last line of defence. That's a great kick that's laced out Tarrant. He's a long way from home, but they've got an overlap of players, so he goes in short. And right on the quarter-time siren, the ball is going to end up in the hands of Farah. And he's going to give it back to the umpire, and that's going to be all she wrote for the first quarter. And what a ripping first quarter it has been. If we have a look at the McCormack Property Services scoreboard, St Kevin's got themselves back into the game after a quiet start. It's 1-4-10. They still trail Old Scotch 3-20 after a 31-minute quarter, Matty.
Yeah, so Old Scotch with the first 5 scores of the game, and then St Kevin's with the next 5 scores. Goal scorers to this point: Angus Jones, the only multiple goal scorer. He's got 2. Jack Polkinghorn, the other for the Cardinals. And for St Kevin's, Sam Critchley, the lone goal scorer in that opening term. Before we head to a break, Daniel Ward, special comments, your thoughts?
No, as we discussed during the call, great work by St Kevin's to actually slow that momentum down. It's really difficult to do that in the middle of a quarter. You don't want to be coming in when you're 6 or 7 goals down. It's really hard to make up that ground, but well done by their leaders. Probably started with Tom Jock coming off the edge off half back. Great leadership, and they started to turn the ball and get the ball in their forward half, which couldn't quite get the score on the board, but they'll be really happy with their response.
Around the grounds for the Glenferrie Hotel, Elsternwick Park. The game has just started. We're 3 minutes into the opening term between Old Brighton and Old Zabs in the second semi-final. Still yet to have the game's first score in that one. The loser of that match to play the winner of this one. This is the VAFA William Buck Premier Men's Finals Footy on Community TV and SEN. Quarter time here, Old Scotch by 10 points. We'll give you the rest of the game right after this. Welcome back, one and all, to Trevor Barker Beach Oval. This is the VAFA William Buck Premier Men's Finals Footy on Community TV and SEN. Quarter time in the first semi-final. It's Old Scotch who leads St Kevin's by 10 points. The winner to progress through to the preliminary final. We'll head down to ground level now because senior coach of Old Scotch, Mark Nat, is addressing his charges.
So they're plus 21, where is it? So in terms of handball and seas, that's the next one to change to get us in the middle. So when we're a little bit knackered, what can we do in terms of that? Just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. We need to, so lengthen widthways. So I reckon what we're doing is because there's pressure on, it's full, all that sort of stuff. We just look up. Okay? Let's look lateral. Yeah. Let's look lateral. Okay? Give ourselves a chance to reset, but it's also going to right, James, an awesome start. Pressure. Right, the ferret in there, loving his words, right? Farah in there, the pressure down forward is really, really good. Pissy at the moment though, sometimes some of our mids even on the wing, we're going too far forward. Okay? So it's about covering Trust the 6 blokes in forward 50 to get it done. Trust them. They'll get it done, but no doubt. Holt's great start as well. Right? So we need to hold out. So Towner, Subbo, you boys, Trudy, hold the shape, hold out. In the air, Taylor's Clarkie, great in competing. Right? Against 2-3, that early one here where Polk's got it out the back, right? Okay. That's because Tarrant did what he did. Other side, Tarrant competes in the air, brings it to ground. So what do the smalls need to do? Even off kick-ins, if you're going to Tarrant or Clark, what do the smalls need to do? Get to the feet. Don't be the one thing you're the man. You're not the man, right? It's Tarrant, it's Clarkie, it's Granny. They're the ones who want to hit, unless Corm can hit a hitter. Get a hit up kick, right? Get to their feet. They will compete in the air, right? Body on. Don't get beaten, right? Be aggressive. Get it to ground. Right, because that's where we've got them. That's where we've got them from there. Ground balls, driving legs. We've got a bit of grass. Just drive legs, really control the game, right? In terms of setup, as we work, right? As we work. Come in tight. Come on, boys. Come on. All right, we're plus 7 tackles to 19 tackles. This is the quarter that I reckon sometimes we do drop off. We're going to have to take the same intent at least the first 7. When we call the red ball, let's go with it. Be disciplined. Cover the corridors, right? Get the bumper bars on to stop them from running, right? Support our defenders, right? Because their wingers are just trying to run forward all the time. But again, go back, 0-0, right? Really strong at the contest. Let's win those clearances off we go. Let's go.
So big thanks to Mark Nat for giving us access into the Old Scotch huddle there. Apologies for any profanities that might have slipped through. And I promise it wasn't a plane that flew by. We've just got really good equipment down there. We'll head back down now to Mark Nat because he's with our boundary rider, Cooper Watkins. In fact, no, we'll do that in just a moment as Mark Nat just giving a final address to a couple of his players. But we've got him now, so we'll go down to... No, he's just giving instructions to Ben. How did you go to Cooper?
What do you think of that first turn? Pretty tight in the first sort of 10 minutes. They sort of got on top a little bit of the back end. What do you make of it?
Yeah, listen, we were fantastic early on. I think we probably just spent a few petrol tickets there, so they were able to get some run off it as well. So we just got to control the tempo a little bit and just make sure that we can, control that game.
You touched on a little bit that you guys maybe second quarter, not your best quarter. What do you need to do to make sure you got the ascendancy going into halftime?
Just want us to maintain the heat, just maintain the energy around the ball and put them under pressure, which we've done really well today.
Thanks, Natty. Good luck.
Thank you, Cooper, and thank you to Mark Nat as well for his insight and for access into the inner sanctum. It's Old Scotch who have a 10-point lead at quarter time, 3-2, 20. St Kevin's 1-4-10. Tale of two halves in that opening term. Scotch getting the jump on the Scobbers, but St Kevin's responding in kind. And we shall see what happens here in this second quarter. Will be brought to you by Jealous Craig. And that quarter time huddle was thanks to Tilling Timber as well. So Nick Robbins helping me out with the credits. He's also going to help me out with calling this game, as he's going to call the opening seconds of this second term.
Yep, always happy to help, Matty, wherever I can, as are Jealous Craig in Stonington and Burundara. They will be bringing us the second quarter. Everybody looks in position. The umpires just checking both umpires at each goal, making sure everybody's off. Now the ball is held aloft. Two ruckmen ready to go at it. Second quarter football underway. They both lock arms and wrestle. Grant gets the win there. The umpires found an over-the-shoulder free kick there, and it's going to go the way of Old Scotch. So they get the ball moving quickly, and it's not great, but it ends up in the hands of Noblet. Good backup play there from the centre, from the back flanker, and he sends them inside forward 50. Lurking out the back there is Tarrant. He sends one in towards goal, and it's going to scrub right across the face of it and not trouble the scorers at all, but dangerous opening 30 seconds here for Old Scotch.
Yeah, so Tucker and Hart down there as the key backs. Really important role. It allows Critchley to play up forward. Really important they do the job on the likes of Tarrant.
So the throw-in is shallow once again, doesn't allow Will Clark to get access at the ball, so instead he just tackles ferociously, and the quick kick is now sprayed out wide, and it's going to get as far as Grant. Now, Grant's probably too far out to score, and he's looking for options inside forward 50, so he wheels around on the right and puts it to the hot spot. It's a 2-on-2 contest, and now it's going to be who can rove it best, and it looks like St Kevin's are going to win that one. The ball is now sprayed out wide. Chain of handballs doesn't see it get too far, and that's due to the ferocious tackling of Old Scotch. Are going to hold it up, and we're still only about 55 metres from Old Scotch's goal. We've only gone a minute here in the Jealous Craig scoreboard second quarter as the two ruckmen lock up, and inside 50 they go. Clark, he sends the ball wide. Chain of handballs, that's missed Brown, who's now worked well, and he's got a quick kick forward. It's now 30 metres out directly in front, but anybody's game. And it's been wrapped up, and the umpire says, give it to me, I'll throw it high.
Crucial here that St Kevin's locked down as small defenders. A couple just snuck out the back there. They need to make sure they're concentrating here from a stoppage.
Yeah, it was Tawney who had a bit of space walking into goal there. Free kick from the stoppage, and it will go the way of St Kevin's. An advantage paid, and Winter is going to run it out towards the wing. Bouncing ball, looking for Critchley, who's got Galvin to contend with. That's gone out of play for a boundary throw in.
Something we should be looking for here, listening to Natty speak at quarter time, he thought the pressure dropped off a little bit. So when they win the footy back, he wants them to slow down and go sideways and control the footy a little bit and drag St Kevin's out. Daniel
Ward, soon to be Sandringham VFL coach. Special comments thanks to Hit IQ as the ball's tossed back in. Ferguson's going to receive the hand pass, had to run back towards it. Now Seaton gathers it and looks to go up towards half forward. The kick was offline though, and Jack Brown read it better than anyone else to take the mark at half back.
And there's that slow down and switch that you spoke of, Danny.
And he goes with a dangerous kick to Galvin, who had just enough time to get boot to ball. And it's a good kick in the end, finding a teammate in the centre of the ground. And I'll look to go again, old Scotch speary kick up the line. It was ill-directed through the hands of Matheson, though. It's come out to Jones, who kicked 2 in the first quarter. Spearing pass in towards Tarrant. Just fell short of him. He's got to bend down and pick it up. It's a long way down for a big fella. He's still fighting on Tarrant. Coates, he's still got a Tarrant. Brilliant play. And then finds a kick away in the end to Lipscomb, who's got it now at centre-half forward. He just wouldn't give up the fight, Tarrant.
That's great from a big man.
And Jack Lipscomb, I'm not sure if he thinks he's got the distance from here. Instead, he's going to spear a kick in short, but that's no good. Straight onto the chest of Alistair Richards. And St Kevin's will look to rebound once again. Gunson loops it over the top to Matheson, who has a man further afield. Mansfield, kick up towards Critchley, who's got to beat 2. Brown gets across to spoil it, dumps it out of play, and another boundary throw in.
Probably had to go quick, Lipscomb. When he first got the ball, he had 2 or 3 inside 50. Had to move that quick. Nothing more frustrating as a coach. They slow down, then go short and turn it over. So you'd much rather, if he's going slow, to put it to the top of the square and create a contest.
So meanwhile, the contest is back in the middle of the ground. The throw-in is once again a little shallow, and the first to react is going to be St Kevin's as a spearing kick comes in, and a mark has been taken inside forward 50 by Mahoney. He's about 48 out, and the mouthguard is going away, which means he's confident. So Mahoney, not one of their well-known goal kickers, but he's gone a long way back, and he's gone the Matthew Lloyd grass throw. So he's doing all the right things. Now it's about how the kick comes off the boot.
Everything to this point looks good.
He'll be kicking from just outside 50 as in he comes. Not a lot of breeze to deal with. Kicks on its way from 51. It's a good-looking drop punt. The umpire's worked a little, and he's just hit the post. So not bad. It's a good sighter, we'll say, there for Mahoney. And as the game progresses, we'll back him from there.
Galvin, short. And Brown looking for Lipscomb, who's got it at half back this time. And now he's found Hayes in a bit of space on the wing, who hesitated for a second, but instead chose to go with a spearing kick up the line. Found his teammate on the bounce. Jock's in there. He's caught by Hayes. Farah, he just about got the hand pass away. It's all under pressure at the moment. One back here by Richards, who did well. Got the hand pass to Marnie. Back to Richards. He's got a man out wide. This is a really dangerous switch. It's come off hands, although Gunson was impeded illegally, and will get the free kick, so they get away with one. St Kevin's. Gunson goes out towards Mansfield. Cruel bounce. He's got to go and get it again, Ben. He does just keep it in play. Trickles it up towards half forward. Marnie's got to beat 2. He can't even beat 1. He gives away the free kick for high, and Scotch will live to fight another day. They'll get the free kick at half back.
Fantastic play here from Matheson in front of us. Played up. Scotch had 3 or 4 uncontested marks. Tried to lower the eyes, hit his opponent, and he played up and spoiled it and turned it over.
So it's a dangerous kick inboard there from Galvin, and it hasn't quite come off. He wants Easton, doesn't get him, and instead turns it over. And a quick kick out of the pack there has just sprayed wide. So a let off there, you'd imagine, for Old Scotch. They had the switch, but Ollie Gill just couldn't quite hit the centre of the belly of the boot of the ball, and only troubles the scorer for a minor score. It's 1-6-12. Old Scotch still in the lead at the moment. 3-20. We've gone 6.5 minutes so far on the Jealous Craig scoreboard. As now a bit more methodical Old Scotch look to build out of their back line. Not much is on offer. So it's a safety first. Long kick down the line, but it's all St Kevin's at home.
Yeah. That's not what Scotch want. They don't want to kick it long and high to St Kevin's numbers. They want to control the footy and shift it.
An easy intercept mark there to Angus Hart. And he's just going to pump him long with a helicopter punt inside forward 50. And he's going to turn it over. Bit of kick to kick there. That time it ends up with Easton.
Easton goes with a kick into the middle of the ground. Great work by Hodges going back with the flight, brought it to ground. And that was the problem, though, because all the numbers were with Scotch. And now they can run it inside 50. Polkinghorn goes long towards full forward. Bouncing football. Jones got rid of his man. He tucked up in the pocket, Jones. What's he going to do? He centres it for Farah. Off hands. And it's play on. Stubbings. He kicks it right up and down the mine shaft. Play on's the call. Hart gets it. It was knocked away from him. It's bounced out now to Barnett. He gets the hand pass away to Hodges, who ran into Gelbar. Got away from him, though. Gives it across to Winter, who gets it back now to Barnett. Hodges once more. Hand pass it to a man who was under immense pressure, but he did well there in the end, did Jones. Now to Coates sidestepping, if you don't mind. And then he just goes up towards half forward to Critchley. He's got space. Unguarded goal square. One-on-one inside 50. Goes with the pass to Marnie in the pocket. He's got Cormac for company and the boundary line. The runner wins out. Throw in forward pocket, St Kevin's.
Really well defended there by Charlie Cormac. Marnie had him cold. Basically, he had the whole of inside 52 himself. Critchley just wanted him to come back at the kicker. Cormac defended that really well, ball out of bounds.
So great call there, Matty Donald. Take a breath now as the umpire resets and throws it back in. Coates wins that one by himself, just too strong. Gets a quick handball out, but they can't do much with it. And now everybody's hit the deck. And I really like the ruck matchups that we've got at the moment, because even when Grant comes off, who likes to wrestle, going up against Coates is Will Clark, who also likes to wrestle. So that is going to be a battle of attrition the longer the game goes. At the moment, Coates is getting the chocolates. So a quick kick comes out of the pack, and it just clears the last line of danger there for Old Scotch, but it will be coming back in pretty quickly, you'd imagine, as a shirt front is seen. This is great football, great attacking pressure there coming, and now a quick kick comes out and it's in front of Gelbart. He can pick it up on the bounce, takes on a tackler with a hip and shoulder and gets spilled out of bounds. And the umpire says, no, you took him on and you lost. It's holding the ball, son. St Kevin's to get it back.
Oh, geez, what a great couple of contests. Firstly from Callum Jones and then from Angus Hart. Let's get out of my way stuff. Hart goes back to Jock. He's on the last line of defence and he's going to go short to Hodges. It's centre half back, and he's going to be advanced almost to centre half forward here with a 50-metre penalty.
Free kick to Coates, I think. Forward of the play.
So we'll now just see, because I think the free kick to Coates will be greater advantage, so that'll be what happens here, I think, rather than the 50.
So I'll be honest, fellas, I was looking at where the ball carrier was, not what was on behind play. Let's see if we can get a replay of that for everybody at home.
Now, Coates is probably too far out to score. He's going to go with a subtle chip to Winter, who got hands to it, but he fell over, couldn't complete the mark. Troon escapes, gets a hand pass away, and they've got space now here to the Cardinals. The skipper, Gelbart's got it on the wing. He wants to go inboard, does so.
Two in the middle.
Got to go.
It was Tawney who's got it. He wants to go with a kick up towards half forward. Farah kicked 4 in the under-19 semi-final last week. He goes long to full forward. Seaton did well. Got back with the flight. Bouncing footy was crawled over. It's forward to Jones, who snapped through his third. Looks a fortune there for Angus Jones, but he was in the right place at the right time, and he finished off. And against the run of play, Old Scotch have got a fourth. 4-2-26 plays 1-6-12. The first goal in this second term for Jealous Craig, and it's taken 10.5 minutes.
Yeah,
Daniel Ward.
Lacks a fortune there for Old Scotch. Billy Coates, you don't back ruckman to kick it inside 50 very often. Hit Luke Winter, he fell over. Ball streams out of defence, and then there's a bounce of the ball that falls in Angus Jones's hands, kicks his third. He deserves that. He's been really dangerous. The pressure that he's putting on has been elite. So the harder you work, the luckier you get.
So that's exactly what I was going to say there, Dan, is I know luck's a fortune, but Angus Jones has done absolutely everything right for a small forward so far, and he's got 3 to reward that. Meanwhile, we're back in the centre, and this time Grant wins the tap. The ball is in dispute, and it's dropped cold there. And it's going to be a great tackle coming from Tawney. And he looks to move rather not forward, he just switches it up. He goes out wide. And now everybody's streaming into the forward line for Old Scotch, and now they're going to have to play slow, methodical build-up. Short kick inboard is a good one to Grant. Hits him at dead centre half forward. He wants to move, so he swings it out wide. He's got to play with overlap, and it's a good way to kick that gets all the way to him. I think that's Noblet on the far side of the wing.
This would be a real sucker punch if Old Scotch get this, because St Kildan's have had all the play the second term. Scotch have gone forward and got a goal, and now they might get another one back to back.
So they've done well here. They did flood into the forward line with all the defence, but methodical and accurate kicking now allows them to have a shot on goal. Not the easiest of kicks. It'll be about 45 metres out near the boundary line. As the kick comes in, it's a good-looking drop punt. The umpire steps backwards, but still in the middle. And that's where it needs to be. It's a goal. It is that sucker punch. 2 in a row there for Old Scotch. And a great effort. They've kicked away early in the second quarter. It's a bit of a rinse and repeat of the first quarter. All the momentum and the goal scoring going the way of Old Scotch. And they extend their lead now. On the Jealous Craig, Stonington and Burundara scoreboard, 12.5 minutes in, sees Old Scotch leading 5-2-32. That's a 20-point margin to St Kevin's, who have only scored the 1-6-12.
Put that goal down to Sam Grant. So Billy Coates, as his opposing ruckman, is standing in the hole. Easy for the ruckman in Grant to stay outside 50. He pushes in, attracts the footy, takes the mark. They bypass Coates and they score from it.
Toss back in the middle once again. Ferguson trying to get away from Batter. He wouldn't let him go though, Batter. And it's swooped now by Easton. He get the hand pass away to Nobler, the goal scorer. And goes up towards Stubbings on the wing, who got away from Gunson. He goes with a kick to Lipscomb, who's got to weave through about 3. Goes with a hand pass inboard. A dangerous one. Hodges crashed through Batter and then won the football. Goes with a kick up the line. Mansfield and Easton are going to contest it. Easton gets there first. Paddles it to his own advantage. Goes with a hand pass up the line to Nobler. Back to Easton. Steps inside. Batter's still down. And then a kick towards half forward. Mark taken now by Tawney, who's too far out to score. He's going to go with a centering kick to Tarrant.
Bather's still down. Lipscomb mustn't be a great fan of him. Set him up with a hospital handball. Hodges came through, but the Scotch boys turned it over and into an open forward line. Tarrant one-on-one, really difficult matchup. Comes at the footy all the time.
It was a great mark from Tarrant, and it was a good kick to find him as well. It was a good lead up, and it will take a bit of time here to allow Ollie Batter to get up to his feet. Around the grounds for the Glenferrie Hotel, for what it's worth, gentlemen. Getting the scores up at Elstonwick Park. Old Zabs 3-2-20. Old Brighton 1-1-7 in the opening term. Ticked into time on in that one now, about 24 minutes gone in it.
Just another thing, Matty, that I noticed there. Lipscomb was really good at spreading from the initial contest from the middle of the ground. St Kevin's need to make sure that the defensive running steps up a notch and they go with their opponents.
21-7 for the Seeds for James Tarrant. Kicking from 47 metres out. And it's going to fall short. And there's going to be a free kick for a hole, and it will go the way of St Kevin's.
Matheson, well done.
Matheson was strong in the contest, held off Jones, the bigger body, and gets the free kick and goes out looking for Marnie at halfback. Cormack! Big fly over the top, Charlie Cormack.
There's your mark of the day, 15-minute mark, second quarter.
The intercept king doing what he does best. And he's going to set it up towards full forward again. Coates getting in from the side, knocked it away. And the kick comes out now. Pfeiffer was there to deal with Noblet. Now Jones gets a hand pass away to Gunson. Goes with a kick up the wing. And it's bounced off the chest of Barnett. And it's been turned over Galvin. Stubbings now goes up towards half forward. They've got space inside 50.
Will Clark is screaming for it at the hot spot.
Doesn't have the legs from here. Needs to lower the eyes.
Well, he's going to run off the mark and have a go at it. It's Tom Farah, and he's hooked it.
Had the legs.
Had the distance, all right. Tom Farah kicked 4 in the under-19s Premier semi-final last week for Old Scotch.
Hugo Higginbotham, a massive fan of Tom Farah.
Hugo's boys, he's claimed him as his own. No one else. All the stocks are gone.
He's got Stefanakis. Yep. He's got about 10 in the comp.
He's got all the electric small forwards.
Yes, he does.
I don't know what his type is.
So St Kevin's under immense pressure in the back half, and the Cardinals have their tails up at the moment. They're doing all the things that they want to do are coming off. Spoil there as it's brought back into play, and now we're going to get a reset. Still on the half-forward line for Old Scotch. 2 ruckmen start to wrestle. Grant Slaps that one towards goal. Leading the chase is Henry Brown. He gets the ball moving forward. It's out in front of Jock. Jock can't take it cleanly and ends up going to ground where he's absolutely swamped immediately. No chance to get that one out, and the umpire will have it. You just see them now at the moment, Old Scotch. They're just jumping that little bit higher as they are really starting to tighten the screws here in this second quarter. A quick hat kick comes out St Kevin's way, but it's going to be chopped off and marked by Noblet close to the boundary. And I don't know if it's a mark or if it was out on the full, but either way, Noblet's got the ball. He brings it back in, wheels inside 50. The kick is just going to drop short. It was in the hole. Getting there was Delamitru. He kicks it long up the line, and that one's going to be intercept marked there by Cormac.
You nearly got to play someone on Cormac as a defensive forward. He reads it really well, so you need someone to set themselves to watch him when the ball is in the air.
And he's doing the right things there. So he sends it out wide. And now we've got some stagnant footy because everyone is in front of the ball. So Clark on a lead. It's honoured. He gets it at centre half forward. He wheels around on the right, goes to the hot spot. Tarrant, the intended target. Jock wearing him like an absolute glove. Trying to burst through the pack there is Jones. He's got 3. Why not try and get forward? A free kick has been paid, and advantage goes the way of St Kevin's. They try and get the ball moving quickly, but there's nobody forward of the centre circle for them, so it's not going to work for them, and now they're going to hold it up at centre half back.
So Gill goes with switch across to Gunson. By my count now, that's 3 intercept marks for Charlie Cormac for those playing along at home. Goes inboard to Hart, short to Billy Coates. Oh, Brown! I don't know, what was that? He tried to saddle him. Tried to get up on the horseback and just have a bit of a ride. Coates gets the hand pass away to Gunson. The running Gunson looks to spear a pass inside 50 through Grant's hands. Comes out now to Brady. Handballs it towards the boundary line. Now that's got to be insufficient intent. And it is. So the free kick to be taken here by Barnett. I mean, that's closer to deliberate rather than insufficient intent, I think.
A bit of a let-off there because Old Scotch have had the run of the play. He probably didn't need to do that.
So Barnett called to go now by the umpire. Goes to Gill, who marks. He finds a pocket of space and will line up for goal. About 35 metres out, 45-degree angle.
Great ball use there. So Grant was, the opposing ruckman was 15, 20 metres out from goal. If they go long and high there, Sam Grant's really good at coming off and marking the footy. So the ability to lower the eyes and find the space, as you said, Matty, was a great use of the footy.
14 goals in the 12 games that he's played this season, Ollie Gill. 14 goals, 13. So he's slightly better than a 50-50. He did kick a point earlier in this term.
So he's due for a goal then.
He's due for a goal, yeah. You can flip a coin here at this point. This is a badly needed goal for St Kevin's. They've got just one to their name for the half. Ollie Gill comes in now on the right boot, sets the kick on its way, looks good off the bird. It's pushing close to the post, but he's got it. Big time goal for Ollie Gill. He was due, Nick Robbins, and he delivered.
Right on cue.
And right when St Kevin's needed it, 2-6-18 now. They still trail in this second term thanks to Jealous Craig. So we approach time on in this second quarter. Old Scotch, meanwhile, 5-3-33. Brings the lead back to 15 points.
Just want to give Tom Jock a shout out there. So last time ball went in there, it went into Tarrant. Obviously Tarrant's real key for Old Scotch. It wasn't his opponent, but to come off and actually defend, bring the ball to ground rather than Tarrant taking a mark and having a shot for goal, shows his teammate in Tucker that he's got his back and looking after him.
And not to give away a free kick in that one-on-one was a great effort there. As we're back in the middle and Grant wins the tap. He just tries to hurry the ball forward. Stepping over the top was Easton. Didn't quite get it, but he's gone back in for a second attempt. Now squirts out the back, but it's going to go St Kevin's way. And buried underneath that at the bottom of the players there is Brodie Easton, the vice-captain for Old Scotch.
Crucial stage of the quarter here. First quarter, St Kevin's pressure ramped up. You heard Natty speak about it at the quarter time, so Scotch need to go with him here.
Well, we have gone nearly 21 minutes here in this Jealous Craig second quarter. So this is where it becomes real crunch time. Can Old Scotch kick away, or can St Kevin's grind their way back into the contest? The ball is in the middle of the ground. It's in the hands of Grant. He gets a quick handball out to nobody in particular, and now fighting over the top of it is Lipscomb. Lipscomb's stripped of it, and a quick hat kick comes out off the ground, and it's going to be effective there for St Kevin's, but they don't get the mark they want. And now a chain of handballs sees Old Scotch send it straight up the guts through the middle. Good use of the body, or not good use of the body there, unfortunately. Sees the turnover, and the free kick They're going the way of Farah. Farah too far out to score, so he sees an overlap, a 2-on-1 out in the far pocket. So he sends the ball over there, and it's marked cleanly.
Great use there from Farah. Decision could have gone either way. It probably was. He probably did drag him out of the contest. And then the ability to shift the footy over to the other side and hit up Stubbings.
So, yeah, it was a good shepherd there that Stubbings got. So he was able to mark that almost uncontested. And good flooding movement from Old Scotch to give them this shot. So, to capitalise, get that one that was just kicked on them straight back. Stubbings on the runway. He'll be kicking from a 45-degree angle from about 45 metres out. Kick is on its way. The umpire has not moved. Straight through the middle. Stubbings, he's got his first, and that's the 6th for Old Scotch. We've gone 22 minutes now on the Jealous Craig, Stonington and Boroondara scoreboard. And for all the effort St Kevin's did to score that goal, they've given it up pretty quickly. And that extends the lead back out to a safer margin if you are an Old Scotch fan.
They're taking their chances, the Cardinals. In finals footy, you need to put the score on the board when you have momentum. They've been really good at taking their opportunities, and that's something St Kev's, they kicked 2 goals, 6. So that's the difference in the game at the moment.
So tossed up once again. Clark taking a turn of the ruck, tapped it straight to Ferguson. That wasn't ideal. Ferguson on the left boot goes with a deep entry inside 50, bouncing football. Coming out to meet it there was Marnie. He was pushed off it. Brown spun out of a tackle well. Got the hand pass looking for Wells. Ferguson botted up. Really well done by Ferguson. Goes with the hand pass in board. Now Hodges spears a pass in towards the pocket. Split the difference between two St Kevin's forwards. And it will be a stoppage just inside attacking 50 for the Scobbers.
The run of Ferguson out of the centre to then just chase and follow up. Excellent work from him.
He's an energetic midfielder, is Tommy Ferguson. Clark got the tap down to Lipscomb. Winters in there. Applies the tackle, locks it up. Around the grounds for Glenferrie Hotel. Old Zabs 3-2-20. Old Brighton 3-1-19. Well, dying stages of the opening term there. Of course, the winner to go straight through to the grand final. The loser to play the winner of this match. Clark again got the tap down. Heap of players around the footy here. Marnie's in there. Gets a hand pass away to Ferguson again, who goes with a kick towards full forward and won't have the distance. But getting across there, doing it at both ends of the ground. Harry Stubbings saves the day.
This is just a watch for me at the moment. Will Clark's rucking against... who was it? Was rucking against Mansfield. Obviously, Billy Coates having a spell at the moment, so Will Clark having his way as the second ruck.
And he is a big lump of a lad, is Will Clark, so he's got plenty of strength there, so it's going to take the best from Mansfield to get on top there because he doesn't have the height.
I think he's played on over the boundary line here, and that's why the umpires called it back. It's going to be a throw in.
Critchley doing it now, but it's a mixture of Mansfield and Critchley trying to tame big Will Clark.
So they come in, the throw in. Clark wins that one easily, straight down the throat of his rover, who unfortunately has absolutely no room to move before he's tackled to the ground. The umpire runs over and says, give it to me, I'll throw it up. We're inside the forward 50 of St Kevin's, but it hasn't been there all that much in this second term, and it's a question of how long it can stay in there. They've won it out of the ruck, and a quick kick towards goal is great.
Mansfield.
And Mansfield didn't win the tap, but he's got it on the scoreboard, and that's probably more important at this stage for St Kevin's. A desperately needed goal keeps them in touch.
And that's exactly why Daniel Ward is going to be the coach of Sandringham next year, because he sees things before they happen. He told us to keep a watch on Mansfield, and we just watched Mansfield kick a badly needed goal for the Scobbers.
No, I got lucky there, Matty. got lucky there, but Mansfield's come for a spell, and Billy Coates back in the middle now.
So that puts the score for St Kevin's at 3-6-24. They still trail Old Scotch at 6-3-39 on the Jealous Craig, Stonington and Boroondara scoreboard. We've been 25 and a half minutes as the umpire brings it back to the middle.
9 scores apiece. 3-6 plays 6-3. Kevin's keeping in touch at the moment. Coates got the tap down again. Brown was swamped by a couple of Cavinians. He's locked things up. And another ball up right inside the centre circle. Coates grabbed that one out of the ruck, looked to get the hand pass away to Ferguson. Winter was in there. Ferguson pursuing it as well. He's caught. Just about got hands free. Some appealed for a throw. Hayes with a strong tackle on Richards has locked things up. It resulted in another stoppage and a bit of afters here. Cameron and Hayes.
Not the massive size, Tom Ferguson, but he's the one that's actually got him going through the middle of the ground.
Yeah, he's definitely lifted in the last couple of minutes. Coates again. Winter. Ferguson once more. The red locks are starting to flow. He gets the hand pass away to Richards, who goes outside of the foot up towards half forward. It was a good spoil coming over the top there from Galvin, who knocked it away from Critchley out of play half forward for St Kevin's.
Now, it's interesting just watching Ferguson on that last play there. As we said, we're going to start to watch him. He's got nobody on him and is just being allowed to run free. You'd think Old Scotch will have to do something about it soon enough.
Yeah, he's free-ish again here. He just reads it really well. He's first to move. He's free again.
You go.
There he is.
And he's got it.
He was held. He got hands to it, though, as he tried to burst through. Easton was in there. Hodges applying the tackle. Umpire happy to let it go. Winter trying to charge through, looking for Pfeiffer with the hands. And it's been locked up. And, he's got Ollie Batter at the moment after what happened earlier in the term. Don't think Ollie Batter's a big fan of body contact at the moment. But it's good to see him back on the ground at the very least. Coates got rid of his man.
Ruck Lotto.
And
Who's got it?
Who's going to get the free kick? St Kevin's will.
How would you know?
Now, is it going to be a free to Big Billy? It will.
Explain this to me, because Grant's the one who's hit the deck there.
He went down first, so I don't know how he was holding anyone from being on the turf. But it's Ruck Lotto. That's why we should just let him go. Other than really belting someone in the face, just let them play and let the ball drop.
0 goals, 3 for Billy Coates this season. How he dearly loved to kick his first goal of the campaign here, and he has got it! And Big Billy loves it! And St Kevin's break the run of back-to-back goals. They've strung a couple together and they've closed it to 9 points here in the latter stages of this second term. Big Billy for the first time in 2025. And it's 4-6-30, plays 6-3-39. 28 gone to the second term for the Jealous Craig, Stonington and Burundara scoreboard.
And that's what Coates does. He'll just keep coming. Watch for him later in the game when everyone's starting to knock up and gasping for air. Billy Coates is a really fit individual. He'll keep coming and keep working.
So he's on the scoreboard. And he's been winning most of the ruck duels he's been involved in. That time it's a 50-50 win. The ball just goes straight up in the air, but Ferguson just bursts away from the pack. Just too much speed, and it's a great kick downfield. Doesn't quite hit his target, because Walsh gets a fist in right at the last minute. But that is just... The middle is working really well for St Kevin's at the moment. Their ruckman down to their rover, getting it into the half-forward line. It's just that final bit of connection in towards the goals they've just got to get right. Meanwhile, the ball's thrown in long. 2 ruckmen come at it. Coates wins that one easy. This time it was sharked there by Hayes. Hayes hacks a kick into the half-forward line, where it's going to be mopped up and brought away there by Seaton. Seaton swings it wide, and now they're going to look to go straight up the far wing. Kick is out in front there, and it's a good mark being taken by Mahoney. Mahoney's about 65 from home, and now he's just been held up because the defence of Old Scotch has flooded back. He now tries to thread a kick through. That's just not quite going to hit the target. And it's going to squirt itself out of bounds, but not on the full, so it's going to be a boundary throw in. We're inside the forward 50 now for St Kevin's, where they've had some good territory over the last 5 minutes.
And they have. And they've started to push late in this term as they did late in the first. So Coates got in front there of Grant, and there's appeals for something.
Oh, deliberate. I don't know how it can be from a ruck contest.
Unless it's knocked over on the full.
Yeah.
No, you don't get free kicks in that situation. So take 2 for the boundary throw in. Coates and Grant again. It was Grant that time who got it out to Stubbings. Goes with the hand pass back to Cormac, who goes for the left foot kick down the line to Hazel. Seaton coming over the top. Great spoil. Ferguson again, good smother by Batter. Denies the inside 50, and instead it will be another boundary throw in. It feels like we talked about the uncontested game and how that suited Scotch, but it feels like Ferguson is proving to be that uncontested chain for St Kevin's right now.
Yeah, he just gets on the move. His work rate's through the roof at the moment, and he's getting his hands on the footy.
Grant tapped it down. Brown got away, got the hand pass across as well, and they're out now. The Cardinals kick up towards half-forward. That is good use of the body. It was Jones who got rid of his man, Tucker rather, who got rid of his man illegally. And he goes across to Gunson now on the back flank.
Really crucial next minute or two here for this game. Just seeing if Kevs can get another one, it's obviously on.
Well, only a minute or two must be left because we've gone nearly 31 minutes on the Jealous Craig scoreboard. As a long kick is pumped down the line, but it's all Cardinals there. So Grant has the ball. He sees a man and spots him up and goes inboard quickly. Not a lot left on... he's going to be 50. So infringing on the ruck. Well, infringing on the kicker.
Oh, that's just too big. That's too big a penalty.
So you've just heard the siren go. We went 31 minutes there. An infringement on the kicker as he was looking to come inboard to nobble it. Now has seen a 50 metre being paid, and it's going to be a kick after the siren on half time. That should be an absolute pudding.
Yeah,
for old Scotch.
Really harsh penalty. The guy can't vanish. If he's already there, it's really hard to get out. So Bader to line up and put them 15 points clear on the siren.
So Bader, in he comes. He's directly in front, about 25 out. Kicks on its way, but it's not great off the boot. Makes the goal umpire have to work.
Oh, it's on here.
And maybe just deserts there. He's missed away to the right. It's only a minus score, so not as bad as it could have been.
It's still on here.
So we go into half-time. It's St Kevin's trailing Old Scotch, but it's only a couple of kicks in it. It's 4-6-30
really
to 6-4-40, as both teams are not interested in coming in for half-time.
No, they're not done quite yet. They want a bit more, and it's a full 22 on 22 out there.
Plus the water boys, plus the runners. Everybody's coming out to try and break that up.
We're the only ones who don't want a piece of it at the moment. So we are as we were at quarter time. A 10-point lead to the Cardinals at the first change, and we're at 10 points again at halftime. 6-4-40 plays 4-6-30. The goal scorers to this point. Angus Jones, the only multiple goal scorer. He's got 3 in the first half. Singles to Noblet, Polkinghorne and Stubbings for the Cardinals, whereas for St Kevin's, singles to Critchley, Mansfield, Gill and Big Billy Coates just before half-time. Matthew Dodd and Nick Robbins with you. Daniel Ward, your thoughts before we take a quick break at half-time?
Yeah, great game of footy. Obviously, tensions balled over a little bit towards the end of that quarter. There's no next week, obviously, for the loser. So really impressed with both sides' ability to put pressure on. Probably the difference in the game at the moment is just the cleanliness up forward with Scotch. They've taken their opportunities a little bit more than St Kevin's have. As we discussed a lot in that quarter, Tom Ferguson really got his hands on the footy and was super around the footy for St Kevin's. The ruck battle is massive at the moment with Grant and Billy Coates. Really evenly poised game of footy that will... it'll be a great second half.
Yeah, Daniel Ward, special comments. Thanks to HitIQ's game-changing Protect Concussion Management System. Use VAFA 50 to get $50 at hitiq.com. Around the grounds here for the Glen Ferry Hotel. And we're partway through the second term. In fact, nearly 7 minutes gone the second term at Elstonwick Park. Old Brighton and Old Zavs, 3-2-20. 3-2-20. So we've got a game and a half there on our hands. The winner to go straight through to the grand final. The loser to play the winner of this match. And at this point, it is the Cardinals who hold a 10-point advantage. We're going to take a quick break here at halftime. We'll give you a comprehensive halftime show, and we'll bring you the rest of today's action right here on Community TV and SEN. Welcome back, everybody, to the VAFA William Buck Premier Men's Finals footy here on Community TV and SEN, the first semi-final at Trevor Barker Beach Oval, and it is half-time. Old Scotch and St Kevin's, the Cardinals holding a 10-point advantage over St Kevin's. They lead 6-4-40 to 4-6-30. The margin didn't change from the first quarter break, where it was also 10 points in favour of the Cardinals. Matthew Donald is my name. I've got Nick Robbins and Daniel Ward providing special comments throughout the course of the afternoon here. Gents, a terrific first half. We'll start with you, Nick. Great game.
Absolute ripper of a game we've got. And listening to sort of you do some around the grounds, we've got two ripper games happening here in the semi-finals. Old Scotch have got their noses in front and they've done exactly what they've said they needed to do to actually keep themselves in the fight and in the challenge. And what's been great about watching it is that first half of footy, we saw Old Scotch jump out of the gates early on. They had all the running, they had all the pressure, they got it on the scoreboard where it counts most, but then St Kevin's have been able to work themselves back in that later stages of each quarter, kick a couple of goals against the grain, steady the ship, and look, 10 points in it means they're by far well in this right up to their necks, and I think what it means is it sets up a second half where attrition and how fit they are is going to play a big factor.
Daniel Ward's providing special comments thanks to Hit IQ's game-changing Protect concussion management system. If you use VAFA 50 at checkout, guys, you can get $50 off, and that's at hitiq.com. Dan, the first 10-15 minutes was all the Cardinals, but since then St Kevin's have slowly but surely worked their way back into the contest.
Yeah, and look, we might be seeing, that it'll play out in the last half of footy, but we might be seeing that, that freshening up 13 of the Pluggers boys might come out and play out later in the game where they run over the top a little bit, and that's what St Kevin's will be hoping for. What we've seen in both quarters, as you both have stated, that Scott's come out of the blocks and St Kevin's probably looked under the pump a couple of times and hung in there, lifted their work rate, and that was really important in getting them back in the game. It was something that Mark Natt spoke about at quarter time too, that when Scotch's pressure dropped off a little bit, it was the ability for them to get their breath back, control the footy a little bit and not be going too quick and giving St Kevin's the footy back. So I think as we go along in the game, look for Scots to take the air out of the game a little bit, control the footy, and St Kevin's want the ball in motion. They want the pressure, they want the high energy, they want repeat stoppages, and so it's a contrasting style, but it makes for a great game of footy.
We're in the midst of our half-time show at the moment from McQueen Financial Group, Old Scotch's premier partner since 2016, providing specialist advice in wealth, lending, accounting and insurance using the 3 C's proven approach of clarify, certainty and control. Of course, rounding out our commentary quartet, Cooper Watkins has been down on the boundary line. Cooper, you've been in both rooms at half-time. What are the messages that are coming out of the room?
Well, I think very to the point of Old Scotch there, and what we were talking about just then was that it's very much, and you can hear it down on the boundary side, is red ball, and they're just screaming red ball halfway through the quarter, which I thought at the first quarter they were talking about sort of slowing the ball down more so from a perspective of late in the quarter, but it was happening at a multitude of different times within that second quarter just to slow the ball down. So that was a key focus within the halftime huddle just before there, as well as and there was something that was in the quarter-time huddle which was trying to bring the ball to feet, and that only the 3 sort of tools were the ones that were going to be trying to get into marking contests, and everyone else needed to be ball at feet. And then on the other side with St Kevin's, they were sort of, Anthony Lynch was really big on the fight that they brought in that second quarter, and they sort of feel like they're getting on the top, and I think that's probably something with the sort of resting and stuff, they feel like they can bring it home really hard in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of dotting the I's and crossing the T's, injury update thanks to Author Sport Victoria. We saw Ollie Batter cop a hit. What's the latest?
Yeah, so that one I heard boundary side. It was a big hit actually, but they were saying it was fine, just a winding. And the only other one was St Kevin's side, which sort of went under the radar and didn't really notice early doors, but was midway through that second quarter. Jack Marnie got shoulder re-strapped, and it was actually, he had strapping on the left hand and got it, like left hand side, and got it put on the right side. So, but he came back on, so he's fine.
Did he forget which side of his shoulder?
Well, they were having a bit of a laugh about it for a little while there. I don't know if they it was a bit of a kerfuffle, but they were all laughing on the bench for about 10 minutes there, but they got it fixed up and it was fine.
A bit of Lin Jong confusion there. Team of 13 skilled Melbourne orthopaedic surgeons specialising in treating musculoskeletal conditions and injuries.
Maybe he's strapped himself in the mirror and just has got himself confused. Right.
Doesn't know his left from his right. We'll go through some awards, gents, as we do. Just to this point, the goal of the day for the Glenferrie Hotel thus far. Is there a contender that comes to mind? We've had a lot of good set shots, not a lot of general play stuff.
Maybe one of Angus Jones's first one or two at the start of the game. But yeah, you're right. There's been some set shots, but there hasn't been too many class. We'll obviously get to the mark. The mark is an easy one.
I think we've got that one set for the game already.
The Glenferrie Hotel, owned by great SKOB supporter and sponsor Mark O'Reilly. It offers quality food and beverage choices as well as accommodation options. 327 Burwood Road at Hawthorn. Visit glenferriehotel.com. The mark of the day from the Queen Financial Group. Gee, I don't know. There's not one that immediately springs to mind, gents. Unless you can, if you might need you to help me out here.
I reckon there might have been one about 15 minutes through that second term. Might have been just sort of down near the interchange gates on the members' side of the ground. A bloke by the name of Charlie McCormack, I think, managed to get his feet off the ground.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right. How could I forget? Charlie McCormack, one of his 3 intercept marks for the half. McQueen Financial Group, that's the mark of the day. It's a beauty, wasn't it? What a time to do it in as well in a final. And around the grounds for the Glenferrie Hotel, 18 minutes gone in the second term at Elston-Wick Park. Old Zav's 4-2-26, Albrighton 3-2-20. So it's a low-scoring affair, that one thus far, but a close game, which is what you want at this point in the season. Again, owned by the great SKOB supporter and sponsor Mark O'Reilly. That's glenferriehotel.com.au. And in terms of the VAFA, make sure, of course, the official VAFA podcast has been going throughout the course of the season. It is a great podcast to be a part of, and of course now with finals ramping up, there's going to be so many great stories to talk about. Myself, Jason Bennett and Paddy Grinley bringing you all the latest news, views and happenings from around the VAFA. Download it wherever you get your podcasts. And of course with the Herald Sun, you can keep up to date with everything that's happening in the world of footy with the Herald Sun, both print and online. That's heraldsun.com.au. And of course, the night of nights here in the VAFA, the awards night. Tickets are on sale for the biggest night on the VAFA calendar. We celebrate the league best and fairest winners, induct our newest life members and present the premiership flags as well to the champion teams. Wednesday, October 8th at Lakeside Pavilion in Albert Park. Tickets available now. You just got to search vafa.com.au for that.
And one extra one to do there, I reckon, Matty, because you know what? None of this here with the VAFA and the William Buck series would be possible without the help of Community TV. It's where you can watch the VAFA in 2025 and you can actually get a subscription to it. And I think that's well worth the investment if you want to start streaming all the pre and post game coverage, if you want to dive deeper into it, if you want to have it on your TV, on your computer, if you want to have it on your mobile phone. Community TV has it all there, where you can access the latest news, get full digital access also to News Corp Australia's metro and regional news sites, and it's currently only $6 a week, which I think is great. All you've got to do is visit communitytv.com.au, click on your live stream, log in and subscribe, start watching. Your minimum cost is going to be $24, which is charged once a month, but it's $6 a week. It's how you can watch all the footy all the time.
No, absolutely spot on, Nick, and a big thank you as well to Community TV for help making the streaming of the VAFA season possible in 2025. It's been a terrific campaign thus far, and it's just getting interesting now with the finals.
I'll tell you what, one thing I will say about this is, like I said, these two teams have met twice already this year. Both games decided by around about 2 kicks. I think it was 11 points and 14 points. It's 10 points now at half-time. You just look across the lines and there's a few things that each team can do, but I can't see a team running away with it, which really fires me up for a big second half.
Now, just while we continue around the grounds of the Glenferrie Hotel, because it's not just Premier Division. There is so much football going on right now, so just give me a minute to clear the runway here, gents, while we go through it. So Premier B preliminary final at the moment. It's 17 minutes gone in the second term. Caulfield Grammarians 8-2-50, Old Ivanhoe 6-2-38. The winner of that one to play Old Trinity in the grand final next week. As we continue scrolling down, Premier C preliminary final, that is tomorrow between Parkdale and Ajax. The winner to go through and play Beau Morris in the grand final for that one. And just going through some of the others here. If you'll just give me a second to get all of this up.
Whilst you're going through that, Matty, both teams have now got back out on the park and they're sort of going through their warm-ups and their run-throughs, and they're both looking pretty good at the moment. No major signs of stress or injury from either teams. There's plenty of people having to kick down the far end as well. So both of them are crunched up in the one half at the moment.
And the other one is the Premier Women's Preliminary Final, which is going to be played tomorrow, 2 p.m. at Elstonwick Park. That's Caulfield Grammarians against St Kevin's. The winner to go through to the grand final and play Old Scotch. And they've been the three Premier sides in the women's division. So it's quite fitting that it's come down to those three. Daniel, with the keys to the second half for both of these teams?
Yeah, I think we don't want to bang on about it, but I think the key is, Scotch trying to win that contested footy throughout the middle of the ground. St Kevin's trying to win the contested footy throughout the ground, and Scotch, their ability to shift the defence of St Kev's, get it into their forwards. James Tarrant's probably been well held so far, so Hart and Tucker have done a really good job down there. As I said before, that allows Critchley to stay forward. So, contrasting styles, but both coaches and both teams know each other really well, and they're trying to take their strengths away from their opposition, and this is why we've got such a close game.
So if I may, so with Old Scotch just holding a 10-point advantage, they're in front at the moment, but the influence of Coates in the ruck they expected, but Ferguson's really, really started to carve them up in that second quarter. Is it too early to chuck someone on him, or would that be a focus, you think, for early in this third quarter?
No, I think that they'll have a look at it, but Natty will back their system a fair bit, I reckon. The problem is if you go sit someone on Ferguson, then Winter or Hodges or someone like that gets off the leash. So I think they would have spoken about how Ferguson got going in that second quarter, but I think he's the type of player, if you do sit someone on him, he works hard to get from contest to contest. So, yeah, like I said, Natty will probably just back his own system and make sure that those mids are aware of Ferguson and the quarter that he had.
Just one other thing, you mentioned how good a job St Kevin's defence have done on James Tarrant. He and Will Clark, now they're the only two players who have kicked 20 or more goals for Scotch this season. Now that's the fewest of any of the teams left. Everyone else has had at least 3 or more 20 goal kickers out of this top 4. St Kevin's defence have done really well to keep both of them out of the game, really. Clark's taken turns to the ruck, but up forward, neither have proven really effective to this point.
Yeah, and it's the ability for the other defenders. So obviously Tucker and Hart have those jobs, but it's the ability for the other defenders to come off and kill the footy. We spoke about Tom Jock doing that. Matheson's, got the ability to do that as well. So, yeah, those two guys have got those roles, but it's the ability of the other 4 guys to come off and help bring the ball to ground.
Well, we're ready to go. Start of the third term. Old Scotch with a 10-point advantage over St Kevin's. The winner to go through to the preliminary final. The loser their season will end in about an hour from now. Matthew Donald and Daniel Ward with you, and calling the opening seconds here of the second half, Nick Robbins.
Very excited for this second half of footy to get underway. Everybody's in position. Central umpire is now just making sure the goal umpires are set and all fans are off the ground. Last of the lads who've been kicking goals at half-time are just making their way out now, and we're just about set to go. It'll be Coates taking on Grant in the ruck. What a fantastic battle they've had. Look for it to be furthered here in this Domo Insurance third quarter. Siren has sounded. Third quarter action about to get underway. The ball is thrown up. 2 ruckmen lock at it. Grant wins that one down. Gelbutt oversteps it, but streaming through the middle, but not being able to pick it up there is Batter. Batter goes back into tackle. Second effort, a rolling maul. That's 1 on 4 as he's... Well, it's a standing tackle, you'd have to say there. But it has gone the way Old Scotch would have wanted. It is closer to their goal than it is to St Kevin's. 2 ruck go back at it in the middle. This time St Kevin's midfield gets motoring. And the ball there won cleanly. And a kick goes in towards the full forward line where it's been chopped out and won there. Defensive now starting to work for Old Scotch, though nobody's taking a clean possession, and we've seen a tripping legging free. And that's going to alleviate the pressure there. So... similar to what we saw in the first and second quarters, St Kevin's midfield is just going to do the job that they know they can do in the middle. And they have 1 ball and 1 territory, but they haven't scored. And now we can look to see Old Scotch rebound. They have it on their defensive back half as a short kick actually does float over the top, and a good strong mark there being taken by Farah. Farah's now on true centre wing, hard against the boundary line. He's looking for options. He has one there in Will Clark. Will Clark leading up the ground. It takes a good, strong mark. He's in the true centre wing position. He wheels around, checks his kick a little. It's going to fall right in the hands of Jock, who's spoilt ferociously. And the ball is now played on. It's going to be who can grab it and who can go. It looks like it'll be St Kevin's, but no, it won't. The umpire has found a free kick. It's a holding off the ball, and it's going to drive Old Scotch forward quickly.
So Jones receives the hand pass, kick 3 in the first half, goes with a kick into the pocket. Seaton had front spot, and Tarrant eventually did enough to just escort him over the line for a boundary throw in.
Old Scots had the footy on the far side, so Brady had it on the far side. From there, switch of play, 4-5 uncontested marks in a row. St Kevin's will be looking to cut that off in their forward line rather than down in the back line here.
So toss back in, Coates front spot, paddles it out towards the boundary line. He's going to get it again, flicks it back. That was intelligent, and then gives the hand pass away to Matheson. They should be able to work out of trouble here, St Kevin's. Richards clips a kick up towards the wing, but getting in from the side, there was Galvin, who did well, and then goes with a kick in more to Walsh. He's got to gather on the bounce, bouncing away from him. He just about got the hand pass away, so they've worked it out here nicely, Scotch. Kick inside, attacking 50. Clark had front spot. Hart did just enough to put him off, and then gets the hand pass away, and they look to rebound here. Barnett goes with a kick out wide.
Spoiled.
He was looking, I think, there for Seaton, but it's been turned over. Kick inside 50. Jones got to contend with Jones. And that's Callum against Angus. And the latter tackles the former out of play for a boundary throw.
Also lucky they didn't set someone for Tom Ferguson because he's starting on the bench over there. So
very good insight that.
I think he'll come on ball as the extra mid.
So the throw in is now launched long. Coates takes it straight out of the ruck, gives us quick handball off, and away goes St Kevin's. It's a long kick down the line to a 2-on-1, and the 2 is just going to win out in the end. No mark being paid, but they do have an outlet. So they go streaming across the ground, and Stubbings has the ball. He spreads it wider, and they've switched play quick as you like. 2 kicks now, and up they wing they go. Ball now rests in the hands of Tawney. Tawney has another man further afield. He goes down there to Batter. Batter too far out to score, so he centres the ball up beautifully. It floats just over the top there of Tarrant, who's there to rove. And now it looks like they might turn over. Oh, no. Here he goes. That's Jones sidestepping left and right. I thought he might have got on the boot there and got it high.
Anthony Seaton's just limped off the ground. Looks to be a lower leg injury, and, of course, Cooper Watkins will be all over that.
I don't want to steal Cooper's fame, but it looks like a left knee. See how I go.
Yeah, we saw him. He was on the mark a minute ago. Oh, that's a dangerous kick across the face of goal. Mark's dropped by Tucker. Tarrant swoops. Can't keep it in play. Battery throw in, and we all breathe a sigh of relief. Yeah, he sort of got to the mark just in front of us here on the wing and looked reasonably proppy and tried to run it off, but then did a 180 after a couple of strides and realised that he needed some medical attention. So he's gone straight to the bench. Injury update thanks to Author Sport Victoria. Cooper Watkins will give us the latest on that one. The second he gets news. Coates front spot, tapped it down. Cameron caught by Clark. Just got the hand pass away to Winter, who was pushed off the ball. Jones poking hard. His kick was smothered. Dillamitru, he tries to take on the tackle. Tawney got him and locked it up. And it'll be a ball up. About 25 metres out from the Cardinals' goal here.
A couple of players' eyes just absolutely lit up then. Quick roving out of the pack, hoping for the quick goal, but it's not to be.
Coates tapped it down, running onto it. This Tawney who goals! Straight from the stoppage, ran into an open goal, Tawney, and he's kicked the first of the second half for Old Scotch. 7-4-46 to 4-6-30, and that's on the Domo Insurance scoreboard here in this third quarter.
Great 5 minutes of football there from Old Scotch.
They'll be disappointed there, St Kevin's. Backline stoppage. And out the front door, usually you'll have a winger position there to cut that off. So they'll be disappointed with what happened there to give up that goal.
For Author Sport Victoria, an injury update. Cooper Watkins, Cooper.
Yeah, we've got, would have been right in front of you boys there, and Anthony Seaton for St Kevin's just done something to his left knee, which is already heavily strapped. He's getting it looked at the moment by the physio staff.
Beautifully done there, Cooper, and well called there, Dan. So the ball is back in the middle. We will keep an eye on that, all thanks to Ortho Sport Victoria. Meanwhile, play resumes. A quick hack kick, one there by Winter, just sends them to their half-forward line. It's going to be mopped up out the back by Walsh. Walsh gets a handball out, and now it squirts out to Cormac. Cormac's been busy in the first half. Hasn't been sighted much here. Early doors going in this third quarter. Now the kick is long and up to the wing. Sitting under it there were two St Kevin's players. They got in each other's way in the end, but they did have enough time to regain the ball. And now Jock streams through a pack, gets a handball out wide, and they're going to retreat to come forward here, St Kevin's. Now they've got the stoppage that they wanted. It was well worked there, and Hart has the ball. He's going to fire it long back up the wing, and now they've got the stoppages. So kick to kick. Now we're inside 50. The ball is put out in front of Mahoney. He gets it, gives a handball off. Little shake, little kick towards goal. Isn't going to trouble the scorers for a major. It's just a minor behind there, and it sends St Kevin's to 4-7-31. It's Old Scotch leading at the moment, 7-4-46. We've gone 7 minutes in this third quarter. That, of course, is all thanks to Domo Insurance.
And the quick kick in has been turned over. Marnie's got it now on the wing. He goes up to Richards, who's got Telemetru over the top. Decided against the hand pass. And now the space is closed, but Richards goes long down the line up towards half forward. Grant getting in from the side. That was easy pickings for the ruckman. And he goes over the top to Stubbings at half back.
Tough position there for Richards to kick the ball in, but Grant was just hoping that he kicked it long and high, which he did.
And there you go, back across now to Easton and Brady. And Brady now just goes all the way out to half back to Brown.
They'll try and use every bit of grass.
But it's gone out of the full.
They had the play, just a little inaccurate.
So St Kevin's will get it back here, and Barnett will look to set it inside 50. Coates came from too deep. Couldn't get the mark, and it's fallen free now. Cormac was in there. Hodges got the hand pass out. Hayes now tracking it to the boundary line, looking for Cormac with the hand pass. Gunson put him under pressure. Cormac gets the kick away down the line to Polkinghorn. So they've just about got away with it there, Old Scotch, and now they can reset it half back.
Cormac's done really well there because it was an awkward bouncing ball for him to collect, and he's grabbed it from up high and got it on the boot to a teammate.
Clark looking for Lipscomb. Hodges got in, but he couldn't complete the mark, and then Mansfield comes and applies the tackle and locks it up. Stoppage in the centre square, just inside the attacking half for St Kevin's.
That's what St Kevin's are after. Once they look inside, which Will Clark did, the ability to cut that ball off and keep it going your way.
So it's at the centre half forward stoppage there for St Kevin's, but the win has to go to Old Scotch. A high ball puts them up to the half forward line. And the umpire's seen an infringement there, and it's going to go the way of Old Scotch. Too high on Tarrant, and now it's given him the ball about 60 out, and he's found a short kick, but it's going to be chopped off. Well done there by St Kevin's defence. That's the one they wanted, and now it's ended up in the hands of Ferguson. So Ferguson swings out to the far wing. It's a beautiful kick. He's laced out Critchley there. Critchley now goes short further afield.
Great running by Gunston. He was the one that cut that ball off when it went inside defensive 50, and to get the ball, send it forward now is great effort.
So Gunston goes long to the hot spot, but this one's going to drop right into the hole, and Old Scotch are there in numbers. They now swing the ball out to Stubbings. Stubbings goes wide to Noblet. They've got an overlap here, but Noblet wants to go inboard, and it's a good kick. It's found its man there in Tawney. Tawney turns and goes. Batter now has it. He takes a bounce through centre half back. Dangerous move. He has to go a long handball, puts his teammate under pressure. That's Henry Brown, who gets absolutely swamped, and in the end that's too high across his shoulder, and he's going to earn a free kick, and he really has earned that. They're in the dead centre of the square. So he's found an outlet there in Lipscomb. Lipscomb will now put them inside forward 50, out in front of Tarrant. Kick's not a great one, and it trundles out across the boundary line harmlessly for a throw-in.
Daniel, I know it is cliche, but the next goal...
Yeah, crucial.
Yeah.
Crucial. You can see... I know we keep repeating ourselves, but you can see Scotch, they want to switch it out of the back line. Demetrio, he got caught in between a couple. The ability for Scotch to get outside and use their legs and their feet has been fantastic.
Winter goes around the body to Hodges at half-back. They've worked this one up the wing, but it's been turned over. Easton got it from Grant and goes with a kick to Stubbings. The switch is on now. It's gone off Stubbings and changed his mind, and the kick was smothered. Ball's in dispute here in the middle of the ground. Stubbings has to butter up. He did nicely. Got it to Nobler, who went with a hand pass backwards. I'm not sure who he was looking for there. Townsend somehow got to it. Swooped on eventually by Richards, who hand passed it to his disadvantage. Then goes and applies a double tackle. First on Brown, then from Noblet. And then just decides, well, I'm out of play. I'll just have a break on the interchange bench.
It's finals footy now. Pressure's gone up. Guys are guys are getting gassed easily, and mistakes are made. So whoever can keep their composure here is really important.
That's a nice and polite way of saying there was some unforced errors there in that chain of handballs from Old Scotch.
Domo Insurance scoreboard in this third term. It's a 15-point lead to the Cardinals. And the ball's trickled towards the boundary line now. It's stayed in play. There's Farah. He got it away to Brown, who goes to a one-on-one inside 50. This is big. Polkinghorn's there. And then Matheson went to ground. Polkinghorn kept his feet and two-peaked it home. Huge one-on-one win for the Cardinals. Polkinghorn's got his second. And there is that crucial goal. And Old Scotch have now got a game-high 21-point lead in this third term for Domo Insurance. And as we read the scoreboard, when it does come up, it will read a 21-point advantage. 8-4-52 plays 4-7-31. 12 gone in the third term.
Changed it out well from the stoppage. Great hands by Tom Farah. Just getting it into their forward line, one-on-one. Big matchup between Polkinghorn and Matheson down there. Unfortunately, Matheson fell over. Polkinghorn kicked it off the ground.
Just some excellent work there from Matty Donald, just waiting for the scoreboard to update. Perfectly done as it's thrown perfectly up in the sky in the centre again. This time St Kevin's win it out. They can't bust their way through. So in the end, a quick kick is now going to be in the way of Jock. He's been immense there at centre-half back for them. However, the ball squirts out to Clark. Clark sidesteps one, has a kick over his shoulder. It's not going to make the distance, but it is going to be who's going to be there first.
Great tackle.
Spun in a tackle. Jock for sure has held up. Now, Will Clark has dropped an absolute sitter that he should have taken. It went straight down his throat and spilled right out. You feel like that's just run down the front of his shirt and just fumbled out like a drop pie. In the end, he gets wrapped up and we are going to get a stoppage. It's a ball up inside the attacking forward 50 for Old Scotch. Clark wins that one. But nobody's going anywhere, so the umpire wants it back and he's going to throw it high. Last man with it is Lipscomb, who's been getting busy. This time, Coates wins it directly out. He feeds the handball out there to Hodges. Hodges gets a handball out wide. Ferguson now gets a kick out to open space, and it's who wants it? And surely
he'll pay it.
It had to be. So Ferguson there kicks it 60 metres into open territory. There's nobody home. It has to be a turnover. Old Scotch looking to attack.
They will send it back inside 50. Looking for Tarrant, who got some separation from Tucker. He's marked it just on the paint at 50. He might just be a bit too far out. Called to go now by the umpire, so he's just going to centre it. Clark is going to arrive. He'll be nowhere near it. Hart gets in from the side, does nicely, takes the intercepting mark for St Kevin's.
So a 3-on-1 there. It was always going to be St Kevin's taking that ball.
So Hart's got to go now. And he just punts it out of there, right out towards the back flank, off hands. Jones was there. He got the hand pass backwards to Tucker. Looking for Jock. The hand pass was charged down. Hand pass it to Coates, who looks for Ferguson. This is all under pressure from St Kevin's. Polkinghorn's in there. Snap towards goal. Is offline.
Great pressure.
In fact, it's well offline. It's down on the full.
Great pressure. They kept trying to exit. The more that you handball, the more that you transfer the heat, the pressure from Scotch just didn't drop off. So great effort. Really important time of the both quarters. It's been about this mark where St Kev's looked under the pump, but they lift their work rate. Scotch need to hang tough here to hold this margin.
Hodges goes up the line.
Probably the big difference, though, has been that St Kevin's this time round haven't let in multiple goals on the run as yet.
I think Cameron goes up the line. Over everyone. Thought Grant might have taken the mark there. Umpire wave play on Coates. Well, he got the football, but Critchley was dispossessed and has been penalised for holding the ball. Free kick Cardinals.
So I feel like that umpiring decision was to pave the mark that was a little earlier there that everybody seemed to stop for except the umpires. And this time we've got a crossfield kick. That is beautifully done and laced out Townsend in the centre square. That is an amazing 45-degree kick there as they have completed the switch now of Old Scotch. Hayes has it on the half-forward line, members side of the ground, and everybody is ahead of him, ahead of the ball. So he wheels around, runs his full measure and just kicks it to 35 out. Underneath it's going to be Jock, or it could be a raffle, and away we go. The turnover to St Kevin's. That last kick inside not helping Old Scotch at the moment. So Jock gets a handball, feeds one out. They're going straight up the centre. Fastest way home for St Kevin's. It's a rare foray up towards their forward 50 at the moment, but it's going to be all Old Scotch at the back there as the switch is on. And Noblet has the kick. He goes wide. It's up a man who goes long down the line, and it's going to be chopped off, and it's 1-on-4, but he's done excellent work there, and Grant's the recipient. He can look forward, and he laces out the captain in Gelbart. Gelbart looks inboard, and he laces out.
And they got another one.
So wider still, and now it's going to be Jones, who's kicked 3 already, and that is just excellent play there. Troon was the man in the middle. You thought he was going to go back for a goal, but he's found Angus Jones a little bit closer to goal on a slightly more difficult angle, and well-worked football there from Old Scotch.
Put that shot on goal down to Tom Farrow, who's just come off for a spell here in front of us. It was 4-on-1 down here, looking like St Kevin's were going to cut off the mark. His ability to bring the ball to ground and win the footy allowed them to get that ball inside 50. So Hugo Higginbotham's lad.
So Jones on the runway, kicks. It's a good-looking drop punt. Makes the umpire have to work, though, and have to work a little too hard. It's only a minor score, so a let-off there for St Kevin's does keep them in it, pushes the margin out to 22. We've gone 17 and a half minutes, all thanks to Domo Insurance, and the scoreboard reads Old Scotch leading 8-5-53, St Kevin's 4-7-31, and there's an enormous amount of pressure at the moment on the St Kevin's defence.
And around the grounds, thanks to Glenferrie Hotel, half-time at Elstonwick Park, Old Zavs 5-2-32, leading Old Brighton 4-3-27, 5-point lead there as the kick comes back in, and Nobler taking a strong tackle by Cameron has locked things up, and we'll get a stoppage. And he has 22 points. Well, that's a game high now for the Cardinals. St Kevin's have not led today at any point. Grant thumps that one forward, gains about 10 metres. Ferguson's in trouble here. He'll be gone. No, he won't. Normally when you got an arm free, spells trouble, but the umpire having the benefit of the doubt that time.
First one to it once again, though.
Yep, on the move. Got it again.
Coates here, Cameron. No, he's dropped that one. The umpire must have seen that one because he took on the tackle, dropped it clean cold. And then Pfeiffer applies the tackle out towards the boundary line. It stays in play. Here's Delamitru now. Loops a hand pass over the top to Richards. He'll give it back to Delamitru. He'll want to run out of defence. Over to Ferguson. The hand pass was a bit untidy. Now the ball's in dispute. Delamitru once more looks to paddle it on. He does well. Ferguson's in there once more. They've willed this forward, St Kevin's, and they've eventually got it clear. Hodges goes down the line. Great spoil there from Galvin. Knocked it out of play for a boundary throw in off the hands of Mansfield.
I like that, though, from St Kevin's there. They made a couple of errors, but try and take the game on a little bit, chain it out with your hands. They need to go at the game now.
So neutral territory here on the wing. Domo Insurance scoreboard in this third term. Old Scotch with a 22-point lead. Coates grabs it out of the ruck, feeds it to Winter, who kicks it high. The mark will be paid. Oh, and of course it was Charlie Cormack again. That's 4. He's just going to keep racking them up, and he's going to go with a dangerous kick. Great courage from Noblet.
Should have been 50.
He's hit the deck hard. I think it will be as well. Initially, the umpire didn't look like he was going to pay it, but well now, and Alex Noblet could well be within range.
I think he was just waiting to see if Noblet was going to actually get up. He was on the deck there for quite some time. That's a big hit late.
Trying to do the right thing, Marnie. Come off and kill that footy, but, a bit late. And, shot on goal here for Noblet. Kicks this and, danger signs here for St Kevin's for a 28-point lead.
Yeah. So he's already kicked one today, has Alex Noblet. It was only his third of the season. So not a noted goal kicker. But he can stand up here on the big stage with his second in a semi-final.
Got it.
He's got it.
And he gives it afters as well as Alex Noblet. That's his second of the day. And Old Scotch continue to kick clear. It's now a 28-point advantage for them in this third term on the Domo Insurance scoreboard. They're stretching that lead into new territory and dangerous territory now for St Kevin's. Score reads 8-9-5-59 Old Scotch. St Kevin's 4-7-31. It's 3 goals to none for the term, Daniel Ward.
Just notice St Kevin's obviously need to change things up a little bit. Tom Jock's gone forward just to give him another option up there with Barnett. They've gone pretty small up in the forward line, it looks like. So, interesting move.
Well, they've got to get it in there. They've barely got it in there this term. So I think that's part of the issue also.
Well, they should
get a chance here.
They should be able to get it in there now because the free kick went the way of St Kevin's and it's now pumped long into the hot spot. Who's going to be back there? At the moment, the numbers are favouring Old Scotch, and Batter backs up his teammate and makes sure the ball is killed dead out of bounds for a throw-in.
That's the problem when you go long and high into a small forward line. So got to maybe lower the eyes. Richards was under the pump there, but the ability to lower the eyes is crucial for St Kevin's.
So this is where Jock could come in really handy with his athletic ability. He's going to be at the fall of the ball, and it spills out the back. Squirts there to Barnett. Barnett tries to hurry a handball out, and they've turned it over, and away go the Cardinals. They kick clear, but it only is going to be temporary. The mark not held out in front of Tarrant. Now it's a 2-on-1. St Kevin's should win this one out, and in the end, the 50-50 ball gets wrapped up as more players swarm on the converge on the point of impact, and we're going to get a ball up 60 metres from home, neutral territory, far wing. We've gone 22 minutes here in this third quarter, all thanks to Domo Insurance, and it's a 28-point lead as we're going to get repeat stoppages because nobody's winning the ruck contest, and the ball is trapped exactly where it is. So the ball goes up. That time Grant gets a fist away, but it's inaccurate as it hits Hodges. Hodges bursts clear and kicks a high kick in towards his forward 50, but it's ill-directed, and it's out of bounds on the full in front of Jock. And so they've turned the ball over, and it'll be a get out of jail here for Old Scotch. They go down the wing. It's a good kick to Clark. Hugs the boundary line but stays in board. He's at centre half back. Long way from home because he's not actually rucking here. He's playing in the forward line, so he's assisting where he can. He does the safety option first and goes long down the line towards Tarrant. Tarrant doesn't get the mark, but he does really well to affect the ball and get a quick kick into the forward line. Stopping on it dead there is Jones. He gets a hands out and a quick kick in towards goal. Has gone away to the right. Another let off there for St Kevin's. Some inaccurate kicking from Old Scotch is keeping them in the game at the moment. Old Scotch now after 23 minutes and some grey clouds starting to roll over here in Sandringham find themselves in front 9-6-60 to 4-7-31.
Cameron gave it from Matheson, got it back and goes out to Marnie, but it's wide of him and was out of play for a boundary throw in. Just over. Oh, sorry, Daniel.
No, sorry, Matty. Credit to Scotch. Their pressure. Yeah, St Kevin's haven't used the footy that well, but the pressure that's the Cards have put on them has been fantastic.
Clark was too big for Mansfield there at the ruck. Gunson read it nicely, shrugged the tackle, sends a kick up towards the wing. Lands for Jock, who got the hand pass away to Barnett, who looked to loop one over his head. This might work out now. Hodges goes with a kick towards centre half forward. Now, this is a big kick. This has to go through for St Kevin's. It's going to land in the goal square, and it's come off hands. Into the post in the end, actually. It threw for a point. Didn't quite pick up who that came off the boot of, but it's gone through for a minor score.
Critchley.
St Kevin's still looking for their first goal of this second half. They've kicked just the two behinds to this point. 4-8-32, plays 9-6-60.
I just feel like Critchley there could have done more to help shepherd that ball a little because he was in one-on-one in the goal square. Either way, he might get a second look at it now because St Kevin's are going to regather inside their attacking 50. What can they do with it? The tackling is ferocious from Old Scotch to make sure it doesn't bomb long in towards their goal square.
I think it was a hard one because the ball, let's just say it wasn't spinning great. It wasn't the greatest of kicks in, so he wasn't sure where he was with the goals.
So Grant wins the ruck. Gets it down to his vice-captain there in Easton. Now it squirts out wide with plenty of time on the ball there is Alistair Richards. And he's just gone to look for the snap across his body on the right, and he's absolutely hit the belly of it and sprayed it wide. It's out of bounds on the full. Probably had more time than he realised. And he's given it over, and Old Scotch looked to move it out of defence once again.
So just slow play here in the back pocket for Old Scotch. Hayes. That was a long kick looking for Gelbart, who's got to beat three, and it hits the ground level. Jones is going to run onto it, although it was knocked away from him. Gunson arrives to support. He was dispossessed. Trying to crash through again was Gelbart following up, and they forced that right onto centre wing, far side of the ground here, the Cardinals. Play for a boundary throw in.
Another shout out to a player you mentioned just a minute ago. That was Tom Farrell, once again doing 2-on-1, who knocked the ball forward and then created that tackle to get the stoppage.
Yep. Spot on, been really good.
Grant tapped it off the head of Brown. And there's Hodges, who's immediately wrapped up.
And again, credit to Scotch, because their one wood, if you like, is their ball use, their ability to switch it. But their contest has been really strong around the middle of the ground.
Grant was so uncontested there. He had 2 bites of the cherry in the ruck contest, but has tapped it straight into another stoppage and another ball up. It's on the far side of the ground, centre wing. Grant flicks it back. Tawney's going to run onto it here. He got the hand pass out wide. Winter trying to harass Brown. Then he applies the tackle. Does Winter, locks things up. And Scotch have gained about 20 metres forward. It's now inside their attacking half.
Billy Coates off again, so Mansfield rucking against Grant. Grant's obviously going to have the advantage here.
Mansfield tries to fly over the top, but does actually get the tap forward. Cameron over to Hodges. Into the path of Dillamitru, tries to take on a tuple, and he does nicely. Critchley wanted to feed it out to Richards. He was caught without it, and he'll get the free kick as well for a hold. Not an aggressive hold, but definitely there for Alistair Richards.
Ball's nowhere near where they are, so that gives Old Scotch and St Kevin's time to just flood into that forward 50.
So Richards is going to try and hit up a lead here. Coming out to meet it there was Barnett, but it was over his head. And the mark has been taken in the defensive 50 for the Cardinals, and they'll be able to clear their lines once more. Brown with a kick out towards Hayes, who marks at halfback.
Strong mark there from Hayes. He's on his half-back line, up against the boundary, far side of the ground. We've gone 27 minutes. He goes long down the line. Tarrant, the intended target, and I think he's not quite plucked that one out, but he is going to get a free kick. Got crunched in a St Kevin's sandwich there. He's now on true centre wing, right next to the boundary.
So it looks like Scott's trying to slow it down a little bit here, get their breath back that Natty spoke about at quarter time.
So Tarrant lowered his eyes, tried to bullet a pass into his half-forward line. It's ill-directed and it's cut off. Good intercept mark there for St Kevin's. They now look to go central. It's a good kick. That's hit Barnett. So Barnett's got the ball. Easy to spot now that he's got his elbow bandaged. He looks to switch. He goes wide to Matheson. Matheson skews one off the side of the boot that's going to drop into a hole, but it might work out for St Kevin's because they had numbers at the drop of the ball. Jocks out the back and he trips at the last moment. Can they keep it in? No, they can't. Just a few little slips in these last couple of minutes are costing good attacking play here for St Kevin's, but it's all things that they can tighten up and get right.
Yeah, definitely. They'll look to fix that in the last quarter. Hopefully their fresh legs, they'll be hoping can get them over the line late.
So the ball thrown in. We are deep into time on. The umpire has found a free kick. It was going the way of Old Scotch. So Barter takes the advantage as he streams through half back. He kicks long to an open forward line out in front of Angus Jones. Needs the bounce. Gets the bounce. Now it's out in front of Terrence. Needs the bounce. Gets the bounce. Here we go. It's as easy as you like. End-to-end stuff. And in the end, Tom Farah, who's worked so hard in this third term, gets a goal, and it's a deserved goal to Tom Farah, but great team play there from end to end from Old Scotch.
To look at here is, you know, the type of footy that Scotch plays, it breaks you down in the end. It's, you know, if you can't shut them down with the first or the second uncontested mark, by the time the fourth or the fifth one comes, everyone's cooked from chase and tail the whole time. So St Kevin's are really looking gassed at the moment, trying to shut down the uncontested game from Old Scotch.
And in some living room or commentary box around the land, Hugo Higginbotham is doing a little bit of a jigger right now.
Tom Farah.
Tom Farah getting on the scoreboard. And Old Scotch, well, they do call it the premiership quarter. 4-0 in the term.
A commanding lead they've got on the Domo scoreboard. It's currently sitting with Old Scotch at 10-6-66.
Grant was blocked out of it there, and Richards was going to run away. It was a free kick to St Kevin's, actually. But the siren sounded and impeded Richards from progressing any further. And that's the end of the third quarter. And what a term it's been for the Cardinals. Leading by 10 points at halftime. They kicked 4-2 to 2 behinds in the third term. And as we turn for home, they have a 34-point advantage to enjoy at three-quarter time. 10-6-66 plays 4-8-32. Before we take a quick break, Daniel Ward, your thoughts on that third quarter?
Oh, fantastic quarter of footy from Old Scotch. We spoke at half-time about how close the game was, and it could have gone either way, 10 points the difference. To blow the game, you know, out of the water a little bit in that third quarter, 4 goals to zip. Their effort and intensity around the footy is fantastic. And then their ball use, there was a kick that Brodie Easton hit through the middle of the ground on his left foot. That was fantastic. He just waited for it to open up. Their ball use is really starting to break down St Kevin's.
Goal scorers to this point, 3 for Angus Jones of Old Scotch, and then 2 each to Noblet and Polkinghorn, singles to Tawney, Stubbings and Tom Farrer. For St Kevin's, all single goal scorers, Mansfield, Critchley, Gill and Coates. It's 3/4 time here at Trevor Barker Beach Oval. You are watching the VAFA Premier Men's Finals Footy on Community TV and SEN. 34-point lead to the Cardinals. Will they hold on and progress through to a prelim? We'll find out right after this. Welcome back, one and all, to the VAFA William Buck Premier Men's Finals, the first semi-final here at Trevor Barker Beach Oval. It is 3/4 time here between Old Scotch and St Kevin's, and it is the Cardinals who hold a 34-point advantage. Matthew Donald, Nick Robbins and Daniel Ward in the commentary box with you. And we're going to head down in a moment to Cooper Watkins, who'll have the coach of St Kevin's, Anthony Lynch, who's just addressed his players and has, got a crucial message that he needed to deliver to his Chargers at 3/4 time, because they've got a mighty deficit that they need to overhaul here at this point. It's worth noting as well in terms of the stats. There was one thing that I did note at during the research during the season is that Old Scotch.
Here you go, Matty.
If we'll go down there now to Cooper, who's got Anthony.
Just obviously the last quarter, what do you need to see from your boys to get over the line? Pretty simple.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be up against it, but we're just giving them freedom to have a crack, take the game on. I'd rather lose by 10 goals trying to win it than try and have a nice sort of soft loss, I guess. So, yeah, no, mate, we've been very disappointing today, and, yeah, Scotch have been outstanding. So, look, hopefully we can have a real crack for 30 minutes, see what happens.
Good luck, Anthony. Thanks.
Thank you to Cooper and to Anthony Lynch. And this, as I was saying earlier, Scotch led at quarter time. They've won 12 first quarters in 2025. They've won 7 of them. So we'll see what happens here with that one. You would think, though, I didn't do the three-quarter time stats, unfortunately, gents. I didn't have time to do quite that much research. But 34 points, and they've kicked 4 goals today. St Kilda are going to need to kick at least 6 in this last term. Daniel Ward, is it just a case of taking the game on, as Anthony Lynch said?
Yeah, super message from Anthony that, you'd rather go down by 10 goals swinging than, try and play the way they've been playing. So look to take risks, run, carry, look to isolate some forwards that can give you a winning score. Maybe for me, Tom Jock needs to get involved more up around so he's at half back at the moment. So if he's just really proactive and taking off, and if you get beat out the other end, well, you get beat. So, the ability for them just to have a crack and try and win this game. But Scott's looking fantastic at the moment.
One of these two teams is 30 minutes away from a preliminary final berth. At the moment, it's Old Scotch who have 1 foot in it, a 34-point advantage. But what can St Kevin's give us? They've been one of the best teams all season. They're going to need to pull out all the tricks now to get this job done. And to start the action of this final term, I hand you over to Nick Robbins.
So 30 minutes to decide who goes through to a prelim and who goes home. It's all to do for St Kevin's. They've been let off the leash by their coach. You heard it here through Cooper. It's going to be a big 30 minutes of football one way or the other. I can see big scores happening because if they're off the leash and it's play as you want, it could go either amazingly well or it could be disaster. But it's all to play for as the ball is tossed high. 2 rucks go at it. Coates wins that one down. Who's going to be first to respond? It's going to go the way of St Kevin's. Mansfield attacks the ball hard, gets a handball out, and now we're going to meet some tackling in the middle of the ground.
On the ball.
And holding the ball is going to be paid there. So this one is going to go the way of Old Scotch. The umpire wants to get the ball going, and it's freed. So in it goes. Lipscomb long to the top of the square. At the back there was Jock. He was impeded, and Clark gets it at ground level. He shovels a handball out to nobody in particular, and the rolling wall is formed over the top of the ball. We are deep into attack now for Old Scotch. It's not where St Kevin's want to be, but after a minute here on the Australian Venue Company, or rather the United Petroleum scoreboard, this is the start that Old Scotch wanted. Clark doesn't win that one out of the ruck, but it goes forward, and now St Kevin's in the last line of defence will clear their lines. Kick to half forward, sees many players underneath it. Henry Brown was one. Tap comes inside. Kick goes up in the air to nobody in particular, and weight of numbers now sees St Kevin's burst clear. This is Hodges.
He's got no on the kick too.
Hodges holds the ball up. Mansfield goes with a handball now. There's still nobody in the forward line, so they've gone back to go forward. This is Jock. Jock finally puts them inside their forward 50 because the runners have come. At the back of the pack there, waiting for it, is Gunson. And Gunson's turned it over, and away go Old Scotch.
So it's Stubbings now who's going to marshal his way out of the defence. Loops the hand pass over the top to Graham. Back to Stubbings, although the hand pass just missed him. And now St Kevin's are alive. Dillamitru, he's got it from 50. He pulls the trigger. He drives it long. And it's touched on the line.
Fantastic.
Great defence there by Galvin. Last line.
Did that twice. Last line of defence. Done a brilliant job.
It would have been an ideal start to the final term to St Kevin's. They needed 6 points. They only got 1.
You'd have to think if they're going to mount a huge comeback, they need the first of this quarter.
They need it quickly too.
He's looking to control the footy.
So Hayes is going to receive the kick out here. Marks, uncontested.
I'll go backwards.
And this is what they're very good at. Old Scotch controlling the football.
Can you start counting the clock down from 30 minutes out?
I'm going to defer to the expert between the three of us, Daniel.
No, not counting the clock out. Just dragging St Kevin's out. So it just takes one person to be off. And look at it, they've already got it to the middle of the ground without too much fuss.
Batter goes to Lipscomb, right in the heart of Trevor Barker Beach Oval. He's marked that. He's going to fan the kick back out to where he got it from.
Oh, lovely.
There's two of them. Easton could run to 50 and go with a kick into the pocket. Tarrant over the top. Good strong hands from James Tarrant. He only needed one clean grab to go wall that one in.
That's A1 what they want. The ability for uncontested marks, getting in the Tarrant one-on-one. You know, you really feel for the St. Kevin's defence there. They're under the pump, can't put any pressure on, and Tarrant takes the mark.
The other problem that they had to deal with then is all the kicking was pinpoint accurate.
Yeah. And that's you can have that game style, but you got to have the guys that can carry it out, and their ball use has been terrific.
Still hasn't kicked one today, James Tarrant, but he has now. And old Scotch are nearly there. A 39-point lead for them. Early minutes gone here in this final term, thanks to United Petroleum. And James Tarrant, well, that's probably about his fourth effort on goal. He's finally managed to score, truly. 11-6-72 plays, 4-9-33. 4 minutes gone here in this last quarter. The ideal start for the Cardinals. Daniel Ward.
Yeah, fantastic. Reece Galvin, a couple of great efforts, then got involved in the kicking chain out. You know, I don't know the exact number, but it would have been 8, 9 uncontested marks to get it down the ground and ends up in a goal to Tarrant.
So back in the middle. Perfect start there for Old Scotch. It extends their lead. It's 11-6-72 to 4-9-33. We've gone 4 minutes of this final term. As
Galvin again.
Galvin just marshalling troops back there at centre-half back. The ball is now out to true centre wing, far side of the ground. 50-50 contest is met solidly by both teams. The umpire says nobody's got clear possession. Give it to me. We'll have a reset here.
Scotch's defence really holding up. Jock come through the middle of the ground and Galvin with the one-out win.
So the umpire has seen a holding free kick here in the Ruck Lotto. And it's going to go the way of St. Kevin's. It's going to come back to Coates. So now everybody starts to move ahead of the ball. Handball off to Jock. Jock wheels and goes. Top of the 50. Good kick in, but a great spoil there. Coming from Walsh. And the ball's wrapped up and the umpire wants it. So the two rucks are going to go at it. So Coates, just massive fist in. Top of the kick goes to the top of the goal square. Can St. Kevin's get the goal? They need to kickstart their final term. The high up and under kick is off the side of the boot. And has it been marked in the field of play? Umpire says yes. The play goes on quickly and it's a poor kick to a 3-on-1. They should have taken their time there, St. Kevin's, but it might work out. Now the hat kick comes into the hot spot. Who's underneath it? Who's up? Nobody can mark that one cleanly, and Old Scotch are around waiting for it. But unfortunately, it's an in-the-back free kick. And that is the gift that St. Kevin's desperately wanted there in that marking contest.
St. Kevin's, Paddy Kerr's a big loss for St. Kevin's. They've had some long high balls in there where you just think, geez, if they just had a big guy that could create a contest.
So Luke Winter stabs at this one. But stabs truly. He's got the goal. He's got the reply in the fourth quarter. It's his first of the game. Is this the turning point for St. Kevin's? Can they muster back-to-back goals and get themselves into the game? Let's hope so.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention the point down that mark to Mansfield. That's the only time I can remember St. Kevin's taking a mark inside 50 all day.
Yeah, even the ability, and that comes from pressure up the field. The ability for them to put pressure on through the middle of the ground, then it allows dirty ball, if you like, for Galvin and Easton and these guys to come across and actually kill the ball. So, yeah, Paddy Kerr would be a big loss for St. Kevin's today.
Well, every comeback starts with the first goal, and St. Kevin's have got that. And now they're going to get the centre clearance as well. Richards to take it. They're still 33 points in arrears of the Scobbers. Oh, he nearly...
Looks like they're trying to give it to Tom Jock at every opportunity off half-back, and I think that's a great idea.
Gunson's been thrown forward in this last term. He's been excellent across the back half of the first three, and he finds Luke Winter once more.
He's been really impressive. You're right, Matty. Liam Gunson's been one that's really stood up defensively, but he's used the ball really well forward to centre.
So Winter just kicked one. It was only his fifth goal of the season. Can he double up here? He'll be kicking from just outside 50. It's going to fall short. It will be across the face as well. Old Scotch have the numbers. It's been thumped back into the field of play. Barnett trying to run onto it. He's got three Cardinals to deal with, and he's been taken high. He's been taken high. So Sam Barnett will get another opportunity here to kick a goal.
Henry Brown then with the tackle, just going up over his shoulder. Didn't need to do so.
I don't want to put the moz on him, but he's a very good kick for goal, Barnett.
29-9 for the season for Sam Barnett.
You're going to give him the curse now.
Yeah,
Commentator curse.
No,
Well,
he's kicking this.
A good forward should convert. He's kept it low, and Daniel Wood. Well, I know you're new to this whole caper.
Sorry, plugger.
That tends to happen.
So
Never put anything down.
He kicked it off his shin.
I was going to say, in case you're listening on the radio and
what was
not
that?
watching the vision, that was an absolute shank that I think's come off the top of his knee.
What was that about his kicking?
Oh, mate.
So a let off. It's just managed to straight through for a point, and Old Scotch are now going to look to build out of the defence. So they come up the members' side wing. It's a high ball aimed at Tarrant. He's got 2 to beat, and he can't do that. The spoil is effective, and St Kevin's now have the ball. Some great tackling, and the umpire calls play on. A quick hat kick there from Mansfield to the top of the square. Who wants it? Charging in like a bull in a china shop there is Vincent Aducci. He can't quite get his kick away, and it's been turned over. And, of course, the vice-captain, Easton, is there to slow things down in the back pocket. He's now going to switch it up. He goes long and wide. They do have a 2-on-1 there if they can get first to it. And whilst no mark's been taken, they do get the overrun there. A quick kick goes long down to the wing. It's out in front of Will Clark. He's got Gelbart, his captain, there to help him out. It's a 2-on-1. They should win that. And a quick kick off the boot there sees it be out on the full, and they're going to get the result they want. So Will Clark wastes no time. It's an open forward line, so he darts one in, and it's brilliant. Play on now is the call as he stepped off his line. It's a kick across the body. Where's it going to bounce? Unbelievably, it's a Sharon, and it was on the goal line. It was only had to dribble about 6 inches to get through, and it spikes straight up in the air, and St Kevin's are able to just punch that one through for a rush behind.
He thought it was through. Gelbart, he had one arm in the air. Cormac again. There's 5. He's just intercepted everything today, Charlie Cormac, and he goes looking for Tarrant. Comes off hands, and now Jock, who's been thrown back into defence. Hands over to Mansfield. Goes up the line, looking for Marnie. Troon got hands to it. It's come away. Hodges off to Barnett. He chooses to hand pass it this time. Aducci tries to take on the tackler. Back to Richards. And the numbers win out here for Old Scotch. They're continuing to force the pressure, and now they force the turnover. Lipscomb with a kick around the body. Reasonably aimless. There's not a lot there for him. It trickles out of play. How will the umpire adjudicate this?
Throw in.
Matty, this is just work rate from Scotch. They deserve to be where they are. You know, just there was 2-on-5. There was more Scotch players in the screen, if you like, and even when they went forward before, there was 4 or 5 St Kevin's guys stuck in the middle, and Scotch were quick to spread and work.
Coates taps it back. Kick up the line. It was a cruel bounce.
No one to kick
now
to.
Critchley's got it, and he's got no one to kick to, so he's got to wait for troops to arrive. He's still got no one. Sidesteps, still got only one player inside 50, and it's Brady who knocks it away. And that's probably not a bad result for the SKOB, given Matheson was up against about 5 Cardinals defenders inside 50.
Yeah, and that's happened a couple of times yet. They're getting numbers up the ground, but when they've got the ball on the turnover, they've had no one to kick to, so maybe leaving one inside forward 50 could be an option for St Kev's.
So the ball's thrown back in, the 2 ruck go at it. Coates, who's been immense for them all day, just can't will his team to actually kick the goals, but he can do everything else in his power in the ruck. Umpire throws it aloft once again. Coates wins that one out, goes without it though in the end, and now the kick comes straight up and down the drain pipe. Jock's under it, and he's going to be paid the mark, and the umpire is going to say it went the distance. He spots a man up inside. That is a great kick into the centre corridor from Jock. He finds his man there in Gunson. Gunson goes to the top of the square, and thank you very much. It's back-to-back goals for St Kevin's. A great kick there from Gunson, but I tell you what, that inboard look and kick from Tom Jock was outstanding.
Yeah, great ball use by Tom Jock. Liam Gunson, we've said it a couple of times, he's nearly been one of St Kevin's best. Looks like he's going behind the footy at the moment, and Jock and Gunson are trying to keep them in the game. One thing that I would say with St Kevin's is once they're getting numbers up the ground, and I said it just earlier, that maybe keep an anchor deep in the forward line just so they have a bailout and someone to go to. The argument against that is that, then you're one short in defence, but I guarantee you they won't leave someone spare in the goal square. So
Golden Aim contender for the Glenferrie Hotel from Liam Gunson. He's done it at both ends of the ground today. Clearance won by Old Scotch. Kick up towards half forward. Mansfield's caught in a tackle, and it's been locked up.
Well, the comeback is still technically on here, fellas. They've kicked back-to-back goals for the first time in a while.
The rule of thumb with a good a serious comeback, 3 goals in a row.
So
that's when we can consider it fair income. Cameron hands it back. He was looking for Rogers. He found Marnie instead. High kick up towards half forward, but Galvin's been excellent today, and he takes another intercept mark. He goes to Stubbings. The back half have been really good for Old Scotch today.
Stubbings has been good today too.
That kick was a little too short for Cormac, but it comes back to Stubbings. Kick down the line. It's marked on the second grab. And they waste no time. Kick up towards half ball through the hands of Cameron. Gelbart's in there. He beat 3 of them. Fed the hand pass out. Jones with a snap towards full forward. It's hit the deck. It was trapped in the ankles there by Jones. It's still alive though. It's come out of Will Clark, who snapped it across the face. And we still wait the ceiling goal.
I tell you what, the Old Scotch faithful behind the goals there are trying to will the umpire into making goal calls only, I think.
Trying to bluff him.
Unfortunately, that one was sprayed wide there from Will Clark. But good attacking football. The captain in Gelbart there taking on 3. He was behind in that power of play, and just the strength to win out allowed them that shot on goal. Meanwhile, play resumes, and it's a booming kick out of full-back, and it lands in the hands of Gunson. Gunson goes quickly because time is against them here for St. Kevin's. It is up on the half-forward line, and it's going to be trundled out of bounds. About 60 metres from home from St. Kevin's. We've gone 14 and a half minutes so far on the United Petroleum scoreboard, and it sees Old Scotch leading 11-8-74 to 6-10-46. A commanding lead with about 10 minutes to go, you'd imagine. But the next one, all important for St. Kevin's to stay in it. Now, the umpire has found a push out. It's going to go the way of Old Scotch.
And again, as you'd expect, Billy Coates not too happy about it.
And the umpire has taken a tumble as well.
How many free kicks in the ruck have we had today, do you think?
Quite a number of them, and I think the important part there is, from our vantage point, I'm not sure any of us have seen an obvious one which we knew which way it was going. As play resumes, it's Old Scotch out on the far wing.
We've seen a lot where both rucks have given away frees, but...
And so it's just now been slowed right down. Old Scotch doing the right thing. They're just finding the outlet kick, and they're making sure they go to it. Cormac is the one who has it now. He looks in board. Doesn't see anything immediately, so takes the safety of the boundary line. As he heads towards Grant, it's an ankle burner for Grant, and it spills out over the boundary line harmlessly for a throw-in. Neutral territory, centre wing.
Round the grounds for the Glenferrie Hotel. It is 3/4 time at Elstonwick Park. Old Brighton lead, Old Zaps by 1 point.
Oh, that's a ripper.
So we haven't got the close one as the ball's tossed back in. Rogers was there, Matheson taken in a tackle, got the hand pass away to Cameron, and now St. Kevin's will launch it inside 50. It's a Mung Torp that's come off the outside of the boot. Critchley and Galvin pursuing it to the line to play for a boundary throw-in.
That's the difference again, unfortunately. Ball use for St. Kevin's going forward. Both shots on goal, but also delivering to their forwards leave a little bit to be desired today.
So granted Coates to contest the ruck here. Coates front spot, tapped it down to Winter, who was caught, dispossessed. Hodges gets a hand pass out. Now here's an opportunity. Snap a goal by Ferguson. It is there. There's your 3 in a row. St. Kevin's have got 3 in a row in this final term. There's still a deficit to climb, but there's still plenty of time to do it. And Tom Ferguson's been excellent today, and he's got his first. It's just his 5th goal of the season. And it could be his most important one. Sorry, Daniel. It's 7-10-52, 11-8-74, 17 and a half gone in the final term for United Petroleum. It's back to 22 points.
Be interesting to see what Mark Nat and his coaching panel do here. Is it one more where you start to look at it and roll numbers back, or is it, you're happy for him just to keep on playing one-on-one? Really interesting to see what they do.
So we're back in the middle. Clark taking on Coates. Coates got front spot and therefore won the ball. So now it's been kicked in towards the half-forward line. Ferguson under the ball, couldn't take the mark, but he goes back in for and he's won himself a free kick for a throw. Great tackling pressure there from Ferguson. He's spotted somebody in the forward line, goes inside 50, And boy, oh boy, it's not done yet. St Kevin's with the leash off are starting to power on in this final term.
I think now's the time. If he does kick this, now is the time to look at getting numbers. Sam Grant's on the bench here in front of us, so he'll have a quick rest, and I'd say he'll be playing behind the footy a fair bit.
So Critchley, he's kicked one already. In he comes, a bit of a stutter step up. Crosses 50, kicks.
Got it.
And you can hear it. It's straight over the umpire's hat. It's straight through the middle. It's Sam Critchley's second. It's 4 in a row for St Kevin's, and they're not done. We're down inside 3 straight kicks and still plenty of time on the United Petroleum scoreboard for them to inch back in front. St Kevin's now trail 8-10-58. Old Scotch 11-8-74.
We spoke about Tom Ferguson in the second quarter was really good. Probably went out of the game a fair bit in the third quarter. His last couple of kicks inside forward 50 have been fantastic, hitting Critchley there, lace out.
You notice, Nick, that Daniel Ward didn't say anything about Critchley's goal kicking up there. Our boy is learning.
And a beautiful kick it was.
16 points the margin. This one's not done with yet. Ball up in the centre. Coates got the tap down. It was Tawney who was immediately caught.
Still 5 forwards, 5-on-5 inside St Kevin's forward line.
Coates tapped it forward. Cameron trying to run onto it, but wasn't able to gather it cleanly. Easton gets a kick up towards half forward. Great mark by Angus Jones, who's the one who got things started for Old Scotch with 2 in the first term. Takes an important mark at centre half forward. He's probably just too far out to score, but he's got a man free at half forward. He hasn't really got the footy closer to goal.
Hayes definitely backs himself, not even looking at anybody inside forward 50.
Hayes will have the distance from here. You'd think the kick will have to go 55 metres out. We'll be right behind the kick. And I'll tell you what, this would be a beauty if he can dob it from here, Ben Hayes. He's only kicked 3 for the season. This is his 18th game.
And if he does, mark that mark down to Angus Jones against a taller opponent. Great
So
effort.
strong.
To stop the run of goals, Ben Hayes on the right boot. He's got it all the way. It's coming back.
Touched.
It's just touched on the line. Oh, the goal umpire had us in suspense for a split second. We weren't sure. The crowd weren't sure, but it's been knocked through.
Jones was claiming that he marked that inside the goal line and kicked it back over.
Play on there. They'll play on through the middle.
So here we go. St Kevin's straight up the guts, and they're trying to make a quick turnaround, and they got as far as centre half forward between a strong mark there from Jack Brown. Last line of defence settles them once again. This one's got a lot of spice in it. We've only gone 20 minutes here on the United Petroleum fourth quarter scoreboard. Still plenty of time for either side. You feel how important this next goal is. A lot of nerves starting to build.
That's a free.
So there's belief if you're St Kevin's. There's nerves if you're Old Scotch. And Jock there getting a free for in the back. Moves the ball quickly. Ferguson swings it wide. Little pop-over kick. It works well. Keeps working hard around the back. Gets ignored. Straight up the centre is the fastest way home for St Kevin's. Ball spills out the back, and it's going to end up in the hands of Brown. Brown swings it wide. It's a good kick. He's hit Stubbings on half-back. Stubbings now wanting to take his time. And you feel like if you're Old Scotch, it's this overuse of taking your time that's actually starting to make them a little nervous. Meantime, he hits Gelbart, the captain, only about 10 metres further forward than where he was. Captain goes short. Captain to vice-captain. This is Easton. Easton now hits a switch kick. It's a good one. Straight across the ground to hit Cormac. Cormac goes up the ground. He hits Hayes. Hayes looks further afield. He goes long. He's got a player out the back. It's an excellent kick. That's beautifully done there. He's hit Troon on the chest. Troon has a player in short. It's just inside the boundary line. And now we've got a position where they've gone end to end by taking their time. And Ollie Batter is going to have a shot on goal from the toughest of angles. He's about 50 out. He's out of bounds at the moment. He's been pushed all the way onto the fence. So that tells you how hard this kick's going to be. This would be an absolute contender for goal of the day, all thanks to the Glenferrie Hotel, just from the angle. He's going to be kicking from 50 on the boundary line. In he comes. Can't play on from there because he's out of the field of play. Kick is on its way. It's not going to get across the goal line. It's to the hot spot and a huge mark. Huge mark taken there by James Tarrant. It's exactly what St Kevin's didn't want, and it's exactly what, if you're Old Scotch, you did want. Your big full forward clunking a huge mark at the top of the square. Couldn't have been a more important time to take one.
Clever nudge out there, just used to the body, read the ball really well. This will be a nail in St Kevin's coffin if he can knock this over.
So Tarrant's already kicked one. Goody finish off St Kevin's here. Kick is straight through the middle. There's the goal against the run of play for Old Scotch. It's the settler that they absolutely needed. James Tarrant has his second, and is it enough to break the hearts of the St Kevin's faithful? It ends a run of 4 straight goals, and it still sets us up. It's within 20 points. What are we out to now? It's 8-10-58. Old Scotch have extended their lead. It's 12-9-81. It's all to do because we've gone 23 and a half minutes there on the United Petroleum scoreboard. A fantastic worked goal from Old Scotch. That is exactly how they would want to play every day of the week.
Absolutely. Shifted the footy and got it into a one-on-one.
And that makes St Kevin's task infinitely more difficult now. An extra goal to chase down. Jock was held while trying to take possession of the football and
late call
has been given the free kick as a result, despite actually getting the kick away. Wastes no time. Short to Richards. He's got Gunson cruising alongside for the hand pass. And doesn't use him, instead uses him as a decoy. Gets it to Ferguson, back to Richards. He can go the distance here, Alistair Richards. He's driven it across the face of goal and it's gone through for a point. Knocked over the line for a minor score. 8-11 plays 12-9. 24 and a half gone on the United Petroleum scoreboard in this final quarter.
So in absolutely no hurry to get the ball moving is Old Scotch here. Now they're told to go. Easton plays on and the kick is smothered. That is great defensive work there.
Critchley.
From Critchley. He's kicked 2. It was going to be an easy let out there for Easton. Took one step too many and now the ball is locked inside that forward attacking 50 for St Kevin's. That's the desperation they probably needed to show a little earlier in the third quarter to keep themselves in it, but they're still not without a fight or a sniff here. Quick kick comes out of the pack. It's marked by Polkinghorne. Polkinghorne takes his time walking backwards. 25 minutes gone. He looks the lateral. Goes short to Townsend. Townsend has a man free. It's Hayes. Hayes is still inside defensive 50. He's going to go laterally again. Straight back to Polkinghorne.
Got a man up here, St Kevin's. Can't afford to have another 2 or 3 uncontested marks. Want them to punt it down the line.
So now they've cut off that switch outlet, and that's exactly what's happened. It's a long kick down the line to a 50-50 one-on-one contest. What can St Kevin's do here? They can't win it cleanly because diving in over the top of the pack there was Tom Farah, making sure that was locked in and only going to the umpire.
So Grant and Coates, as they've done all day, do battle once more. It's fallen to Gelbard, who gets it to Brown, throws it on the boot to a one-on-one. Hart in best position against Clark. Marks. He's done a good job on Clark today. He goes with a dangerous kick into the middle of the ground, and he's kicked it straight to Stubbings. And the moment for a counter-attack is passed for the Scobbers as Scotch win it back once more. And Stubbings goes short to Gelbard, the skipper. Gives the hand pass across to Townsend, who goes inside 50. Bounce off the chest of Hayes. And Hart swoops in and belts it out of there, out towards the centre of the ground. Off hands, bouncing football. Scotch with the numbers. The hand pass comes in board. Now to Galvin, who will get the free kick.
Down the field free.
Downfield, or upfield rather, because he's back from where the incident took place.
Looks like James Tarrant has gone behind the footy just to shore up things and run some time off the clock.
Here's Tom Farah. Called to go now by the umpire. He goes with the kick down the line. Harper's nudged out of it, and the mark's been taken by Clark. And they'll just be happy to slow the game down now. Old Scotch kick mark. Clark goes deep inside, attacking 50. It's come off hands. Jones with the tackle. That was Angus, and now Callum Jones has got it for St Kevin's. He goes with a long kick out towards a 1-3. Cormac. That was a chance for number 6, but it's fallen through hands. And now St Kevin's will have space to run this one forward. Richards could have drawn the man. He's still got a chance to. Instead, takes the bounce. Goes inside, attacking 50. Over the head there of Tucker. He's got 2 to beat now to Sam Tucker in the pocket. and it's been won back by Galvin. Scrubby old kick across the face, works out for Brady, gets the hand pass to Brown, and he goes across to Stubbings, and will settle things down once again for the Cardinals.
Story of the day, unfortunately, for St Kevin's. Kicks inside forward 50, just missing.
I've got to say also, great call on James Tarrant going into the back line there. That was a shepherd out there that allowed the turnover to happen for Old Scotch to win and make the switch of play that they've got right now. So the ball's moved up the ground. It's the captain, Gelbart. He now goes a bit of a high up and under crossfield kick to Hayes, who reads the flight of the ball better, takes an uncontested mark. He's got players free down the ground. Have a look at this. Angus Jones, he's got one bounce, two bounces, steadies, kicks at goal, and it starts right, stays right. And he had an acre of space. Probably could have slowed down to almost a crawl before kicking that one, and it's only a minor score. Old Scotch extend their lead only just. And there's the siren. It's all over. 28 minutes in that final quarter has seen Old Scotch get the win. They finish off 12-9-81, the victors over St Kevin's 8-11-59. That, of course, is all on the United Petroleum scoreboard. A fantastic game of football we've watched. It's over for St Kevin's for season 2025. And Old Scotch, similar to last year, march on now into a preliminary final. What a great game of footy we've just witnessed, fellas.
Great win by Scotch. Really deserved to win that. We spoke all day about how they wanted to use the footy, but what they brought today was their ability to outnumber at the contest and put pressure on St Kevin's. St Kevin's got caught trying to chain it out by hands a lot, transferring the heat, and Scotch's pressure was just fantastic. I thought some really key moments late. Angus Jones's mark in the 20-minute mark of the last quarter really stood up at key moments. The back 6 or 7 were fantastic behind the footy for Scotch. Truly deserved win for the Cardinals, and they move on to next week.
So if we actually have a look at the goal kickers then for the game, we'll start with St Kevin's. We'll go through the doubles first. So Sam Critchley ends up with 2, and then singles apiece to Luke Winter, Ben Mansfield, Tom Ferguson, who had a fantastic game, Ollie Gill, the ruckman in Coates, who tried his guts out all day, Liam Gunson with the singles. Then over to Old Scotch, triples for Angus Jones, and then a double for Alex Noblet, Jack Polkinghorn, James Tarrant, and singles apiece to Jack Tawney, Harry Stubbings, and Tom Farrer.
Daniel Ward, I'm going to put you under the pump here. A player of the match. We want to try and get someone to join us. Who do you think is worthy of the honours today?
Yeah, I probably, early on, I probably would have given it to Charlie Cormack. But like I just said, I'm happy to give it to, obviously he kicks the goals, but I'm really happy to give it to a small guy in Angus Jones who fought his backside off. Yeah, he kicked the goals, but the ability to stand up in key moments and, and put pressure on. And I thought for a full 4-quarter performance, best on ground for me is Angus Jones, number 49.
Yeah, well, he kicked 3 goals today. It's a season high from him in the Premier Division. He kicked a bag of 6 in the reserves earlier this season, Angus Jones, but has come good in the finals when it matters most with 3 goals. He kicked 2 in the opening term, kicked all 3 of them in the first half, and he could have nearly rounded it off right at the end there. Cooper Watkins will be all across this and we'll be getting hold of him shortly, and hopefully Mark Nat joins us in the box afterwards, gents, for a bit of a chat. So quarter time, it was a 10-point lead to Old Scotch, 3-2-20, St Kevin's 1-4-10. The margin stayed the same at half-time, 6-4-40 to 4-6-30. At three-quarter time, it was 4 goals to none. Old Scotch making their move, 10-6-66 to 4-8-32. St Kevin's did kick 4 in a row at one stage in the last term, but it wasn't enough to reel in the Cardinals, who progressed through to the preliminary final, 12-10-82 to 8-11-59. They will play the loser of the Old Zavs Old Brighton match. We'll give you around the grounds for Glenferrie Hotel. But we'll go down now to boundary side to Cooper Watkins, who's got Angus Jones.
I've got Angus Jones with me, boys. Now, Angus, pretty big game for myself. 3 goals in the first half. Nearly could have sealed it at the end there. What do you think going into a prelim next week?
Oh, it's awesome. I think we've played really well all year, so I think just getting some reward at the end of the year is really good. So, yeah, it was awesome day today. Played really well as a team, so it was great, yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously there's sort of well-documented 9-9 throughout the season, but sort of coming to the back end of the year really sort of going hard and got the form going. Do you feel confident going into a prelim? We're not sure who it is yet, but what do you think about going into a prelim and your ability to win that?
Yeah, definitely. I think if we all back our structure and Natty's just an awesome coach, so I'm sure he's got some tricks up his sleeve. But I back us in for the rest of the year. So yeah,
Enjoy the win, enjoy the song, mate.
thanks, mate.
Thank you to Cooper and to Angus Jones, our player of the match with his 3 goals in the first half. This is the post-game show for the Australian Venue Company, an Old Scotch Platinum partner who provide over 200 venues, some of Australia's most loved pubs, bars and event spaces, including the 2 venues that directly support Old Scotch, the Auburn and Hawthorn Hotels, where members can take their family, Old Scotch members rather, can take their family and friends using AVC's customer loyalty card. The pass, you can get 10% discount on food and drinks, gents. In turn generating valuable points for the club. We'll go over the goal of the day for Glenferrie Hotel. We had a bit of trouble with this in the first half, but did any contenders crop up after half-time?
If it's me picking this one, it's that final goal for Old Scotch, because it absolutely epitomised everything that's worked for them as a club. They've got it in the back line, gone the switch, pinpoint passing, gone end to end, and then that kick into the middle, a big full forward clunks a mark and then ices the game. To me, that's the goal of the day.
Daniel Ward?
James Tarrant, yeah, we'll back that in. So, before, I think at halftime we said Angus Jones, but he's just won the skins or whatever the best on field is. So, let's say James Tarrant for the goal.
We can hear Old Scotch singing their song. They progressed through to preliminary final around the grounds for the Glenferrie Hotel, gents. And Cooper Watkins has joined us now. You said we don't know. We still don't know. It's very much up for grabs 11 minutes into the final term, but the Tunners have caught a bit of a break. 9-11-65 to 8-4-52. So they've kicked 2-2 to 2 behinds in the final term. Only led by a point at three-quarter time, but they lead by 13 points now. 11 minutes gone in the final term. Not sure if we'll stick around quite long enough to get to the end of that match, unless you guys are up for a 20-minute post-match chat. We shall see. The Glenferrie Hotel, owned by great SKOB supporter and sponsor Margot Riley. It offers quality food and beverage choices as well as accommodation options. Located at 324 Burwood Road in Hawthorn. You can visit glenferriehotel.com.au. The mark of the day for McQueen Financial Group. Now, Charlie Cormack was the clubhouse leader in the first half. I don't think anyone really challenged him.
Didn't even get close to him, I think. Even if we didn't want to say that it was that second quarter absolute hanger that he took in the half-forward line, his body of work, intercept marking, I think actually has earned him that right.
Yeah, I think that's more than fair enough. Old Scotch Premier Partner since 2016, providing specialist advice in wealth, lending, accounting and insurance, ensuring their 3 Cs proven approach of clarify, certainty and control. Cooper, injury update thanks to Author Sport Victoria. We mentioned Anthony Seaton. Was there anything else to come out of today?
No, nothing other than that. Obviously the ones I mentioned at halftime, but really other than that injury during the third quarter, there's nothing really else to report, which is probably good for the Old Scotch going into a prelim next week.
It's what you want at this time of year. Round the grounds for Glenferrie Hotel, the Premier B preliminary final, 8.5 gone in the final term. Caulfield Grammarians 15-3. 93. Wow. Old Ivanhoe 9-7-61 at this point, nearly a third of the way through that final term. So Caulfield looking like they've got one foot in the grand final to play Old Trinity in that match. The Premier C competition, that's tomorrow. Parkdale and Ajax, the winner of that, to play Beau Morris in the grand final. That one will start at Elstonwick, Trevor Barker Beach Oval here tomorrow at 2:30. And in the Premier Women's preliminary final, that one also is set to take place tomorrow. Caulfield Grammarians against St Kevin's, 2 p.m. at Elstonwick Park. The winner to play Old Scotch. So they're around the ground. So we've got a couple of really good games at the moment. The Premier and Premier B finals at this stage, so we'll continue to keep an eye on that. And of course, that injury update, or lack of, is a team of 13 skilled Melbourne orthopaedic surgeons specialising in treating musculoskeletal conditions and injuries. That is thanks to Author Sport Victoria. In terms of the VAFA for the love of the game, the official weekly podcast, that'll be continuing throughout the course of the finals series. Jason Bennett, Paddy Greenlay and myself, Matthew Donald, leading the call. They're bringing you all the latest in news, views and happenings from around the VAFA. Download it wherever you get your podcast. And gents, another thing I've got to tell you about, I'm not a religious guy, but I've uncovered the VAFA's official Bible. It is the brand new VAFA app. Now, you've got to make sure that you download this, because this has got everything you want. Live scores, news, fixtures, stats, the latest. It has it all on the VAFA app across all divisions, all competitions. You can download it if you've got an iPhone, download from the App Store. If you're an Android user, that's there for you on Google Play. Can't recommend that one highly enough, particularly at this time of year when you want to be keeping score across what's going on around the ground, around the state. Daniel Ward, for St Kevin's, a word on their season, because they've had a very good campaign, a 12-6 record. They've been a top team once again. They've set the bar very high, but a disappointing end to the season. How do you sum up their campaign overall?
Yeah, it's a tough one. They'll be disappointed with today, like you said. But I know from an old Haileybury perspective, they're a club that we look up to a lot and we respect highly. So they're a club that's always up there competing, and they did that again this year. The ability, and it's through leadership. It's Paddy Mount, the president, and Plugger Lynch, the coach, and the players and the leaders that they've had come through to finish 12-6. And there was obviously two clear standouts throughout the year in Old Brighton and Old Zavs, but they were clearly the best, the third best side throughout the year, and they just happened to not play their best footy when it counted in today. And they'll ask themselves the question about the preparation, and that will be asked. Wouldn't ask Plugger about that at the moment, maybe give it a few days, but they'll ask themselves that question, and I still think it was the right thing to do, but they just didn't come to play today. And Scotch really deserved the win, but no doubt Plugger and his team will be back next year, and they're a real professional organisation, and they'll look to bounce back. I think that's the second year in a row that Scotch have got them. I don't want to speak for Mark Knapp, but I know Mark 2-3 years ago spent a lot of time with Anthony Lynch and how St Kev's went about it. I know he respects them highly, so they'll bounce back. And didn't have their best day today, but no doubt they'll be one of the teams to beat next year.
Yeah, we can look into the reasons why. It didn't feel like St Kevin's had a team of 13 that were underdone.
No,
it didn't feel like that was the reason why.
I don't think it was an underdone thing. I don't think it wasn't a fitness thing. It was more a want thing for me from old Scotch. And sometimes when a side wins the premiership the year before, maybe there's just a little bit of, we won it last year, and we, so you probably don't. You try hard, but then there's trying hard, and then there's trying harder than that. So credit to Scotch that they've came to play. Probably 3 or 4 games ago we were talking about them possibly in the relegation battle, and then they've won 3 in a row, including us at Old Haileybury, and they're just peaked at the right time. And whoever they do play next week, Mark Nat and his group will go in really confident that they can compete and get themselves into a grand final, because they've done it before.
Well, and they did it exactly like this last year. They had to do it the hard way. They had to play a first semi-final, which is an elimination final. Then they had to beat St Kevin's in the preliminary final, which they did, and then beat Old Brighton, who are the all-conquering ladder leaders on grand final day, and were too good for them when it mattered most then. So they've been in this exact situation before, and they managed to get the job done then, and who's to say that they can't do it 2 years running? Yeah,
absolutely. And I was really impressed today with their backline group, and you need a strong backline when a team's coming hard at you and you're under the pump. Whether it's 2-3 guys early on, it was Charlie Cormack, and then I thought Reece Galvin was really good second half in particular. Some of Brody Easton's kicking through the middle of the ground was elite. Even someone like James Brady, that he's not going to win a lot of the footy, but he locks down and does a really important role. They've probably got a mix. They've got 2 or 3 that do their roles in Walsh, and Brady, and then you've got the guys that can win the footy and use it and have the class like Charlie Cormack. So whoever they play next week, Mark will have full confidence that if they're under the pump at times, that their back 6 or 7 will hold up, and that's what they've done. And that holds them in really good stead.
And Mark Natt, the coach of Old Scotch, will join us shortly. I know that Angus Jones was our best player on the ground, but really could have gone to anyone in that back six when you think about it. Brady was outstanding. Cormac, of course, has been excellent again. Stubbings was terrific. Easton played a bit of time in the back half as well. I mean, they were all just so good in that defensive half.
I think they also got a big lift from their captain in the second half, and that's really when they put the ice on it, is we just saw Gelbart just work his way into the game the longer it went.
Yeah, and Jack Brown down back as well, had a couple of crucial efforts when St Kevin's were coming late in the game. And it's always that the tough thing for St Kevin's. They got back in the game by getting their numbers up and running and carrying. But then when they looked up, they had nothing to kick to in the last term. So it's just that balance, that their ball use wasn't always super. And it's something that St Kevin's will look at that moving forward with their ball use.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mark Natt is just here. He's just going to join us in a second. We're just figuring out whether he's able to come up here.
Well done, mate.
No, he's not going. That's all right. We're going to allow him to. Oh no! Hey there. Rhett. We've got Rhett here from Old Scotch. He'll fill in for Mark. Rhett, congratulations.
Thanks very much. Much appreciated.
So your exact role, because you're not senior coach, that's Mark Natt, but he's delegated the responsibility to you. So what's your role?
So I'm the coach of the midfield in the seniors, and I also coach the reserves. So they're long Saturdays, but they're when you get results like today, and our whole year it's been reserves and seniors. We look at it as one entire program. We've had a number of boys from the reserves step up and hold their own at senior levels. So, we very much look at it like a one-club approach. Being able to be across both sides is essentially my role.
Well, we talked pre-game about the midfield dominance of St Kevin's in terms of the clearances and contested possessions, and specifically through Luke Winter and Billy Coates. So to be able to get the win over that midfield in the end, that must be something that you take at least a slight amount of satisfaction out of.
A lot. We absolutely were under no illusions where they stood from a midfield division, just by way of their stats over the year. We knew they were number one for clearances and hits to advantage. We did a lot of work on the tape during the week, just with their hit zones and clearance patterns. We were keeping an eye on the clearances throughout the day, made a few adjustments in play, and I must admit, overall, we're pretty happy. I know they probably got the run of it there in the last quarter in the midfield, but for the whole part, particularly at important times of the game, I felt like we at least broke even, if not got the ball going our way with momentum.
Yeah, so great work in the midfield. I probably want to talk about your reserves coaching role. So obviously when you had some VFL boys come back in, and then I think Ryan Walsh played against us at Old Haileybury in the reserves. So how did you and Mark actually communicate that with him and others, whether it's others that missed out in the last couple of games when those VFL boys come back?
Yep.
How did you make sure the communication was strong with those guys that will need you down the track in the finals?
So we absolutely knew that there'd be 3 changes required for finals, just given VFL players not being eligible. So, Walshy, Troon, that played on a wing, and Brady down back. They were the 3 that went back, and they all had a clear agenda as to how we wanted them to go about. And we, to be honest, in that specific game when we played you boys, they went out playing in certain roles. So, for example, Brady usually plays deep. We played him high that day as a backman, just so he could kind of get his hands on the footy a little bit more. Trooney, we played on the ball all day. And Walshy he hardly let the ball through him. So we've always made sure that when the boys have gone back from the 1s to the 2s, that they've got a clear instruction, and the 2s are very much structured up how the 1s are. So that's exactly the same program that we're looking at in structure, so that it's a seamless transition between both sides.
So, speaking of seamless transitions, especially with Brady down back, your back 6 today were just absolutely enormous in not only intercepting the ball, but then getting really good attack moving forward. That must be something you're really happy with today.
Yeah, particularly early. Like I reckon in the first quarter, even the first half, the inside 50s, they were probably up, but just the way in which the boys were able to hold them up behind the footy, cool heads, and then with our transition out, it was something we did have to look at early. We probably weren't using our the centre corridor as much as we like when exiting out of D50, but we adjusted that in the second quarter. So I think early days just repelling, and then not only repelling but giving us a lot of drive as the game went on. Couldn't fault them at all, the back line.
And then moving up to the other end of the ground, coming into the match, the linchpins were Taryn and Will Clark, and they were reasonably well held for most of the match. But then Angus Jones popped up with a season-high 3. Must have been thrilled for him to make such a contribution on a stage like this.
Absolutely. Jonesy, so it's his first final. He was predominantly a twos player last year. We identified him. He's got a lot of X factor. This year he's shown it in a couple of games. We played a game out at St Bernard's and he literally lit it up. Like, you could just see he's actually got it. I actually said during the week I'm going to back him in to have a big day. So I'm pleased with it. He was able to come out and execute. But yeah, look, I think just having that blend between our tall timber up forward and then the small guys at their feet, and then like our mid-sized forwards like a Polkinghorn who had a big job today especially late with Jock, who was given a lot of drive and probably had a fair bit to do with it getting close late in the game. Polkinghorn was smart enough to tighten up on him in play, and probably had a fair bit of an influence on the way in which the game resulted in the end.
And just quickly, how quick were the players to reach for the phones after singing the song to see what's going on at Elston?
Literally in there, I believe the game was still in play. We could see that I think Brighton were up, but yeah, I must admit the boys were looking at it just as I was walking out the ground. But Natty, he all he said, we'll focus on ourselves at the moment. Okay. We'll obviously unpack who we're playing against during the week, and especially late, like just obviously closing games. That's going to be something we're going to need to do. Obviously, you're never really going to be able to control 100 minutes of footy, but I think today, especially late when they came, just a couple of things we can look at. But overall, I think for the whole part, we did control majority of the game, and that in the end was a just reserved result.
Well, you've got to play one of them. 25 minutes in the final term. Old Brighton leading by 15 points on that one. Okay. So we're well into time on now, and the Tunners have the advantage there, Daniel.
So what's the week look like? So is it something that you'll look at today's game on a Tuesday night perspective, or when do you start to look at, so let's just say these old Zavs, when do you start to look at them and what?
So we'll do, it won't change too much. So our typical week will look like, so what will change is the boys will do a recovery Monday. That's been locked in. So they'll go off to one of our sponsors, do a bit of a recovery session there. We'll have a coaches meeting Monday. So we'll study the tape between now and Monday. Each of myself, the defensive coach, Dougie Lawrence, and the forward coach, Andrew Miller, we'll have a meeting Monday. Then we will obviously all get together as a group, coaches and players, Tuesday for normal training. That'll be out on the deck, and then we'll probably do about a half an hour tape on what we've done. We'll probably have a look at Zavs if it's them that we're playing. Natty takes courage of all of that, and then from there, Thursdays just I guess especially this time of year, a bit more of hour on the track, fine tuning, making sure that we're right for Saturday essentially.
Yep. You must be as a midfield coach, you must be really proud of Sam Grant. I rate Billy Coates a lot, and you would have seen from watching the footage, and he's really important to how Winter sets up. And I thought Sam really, Billy's a fitness animal and can work some ruckman into the ground. I thought Sam, competed really hard and went forward, caught a couple, went back, helped out. So he must be really proud of his efforts.
He's been like that all year, to be honest. Like he's and you're right. Like Coates is a fantastic ruckman, and we put a lot of time into his hit zones and what have you. But I felt the way Sam used his ruck craft today early, particularly, and I think the byproduct of that was a lot of free kicks he got, just with his positioning. Really, really pleased with the way in which he went out and flew the flag for us in the middle.
Well, Rhett, we know you'll want to go and celebrate with your Chargers. We'll let you do that. But thank you for your time.
No worries.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Next week.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
The midfields coach of Old Scotch and of the reserves as well, seeing their team through to a preliminary final.